In begins now inside the San Diego Sports 760 studios with John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of John and Jim. We have a terrific show lined up for you. And, of course, we're going to react to this breaking news out of Padres land. Xander Bogaerts to the IL. Will he return this year or not with a broken foot? Aztecs win last night. We'll have that covered. J.R. Tolver, the Aztec for Life, will join us at 2:30. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, friend of the show, back with us on the Micah Parsons trade at 3 p.m. And then wall-to-wall coverage. Kevin Acey, who just broke this story, no pun intended, on the broken foot of Xander Bogaerts, will join us at 4. Corey Provis, longtime radio voice with the Twins, will join us coming up at 4:30. But wow. I mean, Xander Bogaerts to the IL, the Padres have now been dealing with injuries. One of the keys, the unpredictable. You can do whatever you want at the deadline. You can spend as much money as you want. You can have the best roster in the world. It always comes down to health. Of course, he hasn't been their most productive player this year, but the truth is, Jim, if we looked at the numbers over the last half season, Xander Bogaerts has absolutely been productive. He plays each and every day. And we thought there was something odd about Mike Shilt's reaction to a question about Bogaerts postgame 2 days ago in Seattle. And our worst fears confirmed. He will go to the IL with a broken foot. You're talking about weeks, if not months. And now, how do they navigate these 28 games? And do they get him back for the postseason? Another injury blow for the Padres with a month to go in the season.
Yeah, it's a big blow. It's not like Xander was lighting the world on fire recently, but still, when you look at the depth of this team at that position in particular, now where are you going to go? You
even said that 2 days ago. You said with Xander, you might have said it to me off air, like there's not a lot of depth right there.
You can put Jose Iglesias in at short.
100%.
And you're not going to lose anything defensively. If anything, you're going to gain something defensively there. But as far as offensively goes,
you're losing something.
You're absolutely losing something there. You know, even though Xander's not a world beater offensively, I'd much rather have Xander in a lineup than Jose Iglesias.
The numbers bear that out, by the way.
100%. Xander, at least his OPS is above 700. Yeah. Jose Iglesias, who has a concert coming up here, has an OPS in the 500s.
Correct.
So offensively, it's a pretty significant downgrade when you look at who the replacements will be. Mason McCoy recalled today.
It's just a depth piece.
Yeah, they just need to recall somebody, and they need to recall an infielder.
Can't be.
Now, you could go, I mean, the route that you could go.
Okay, let's hear it. Let me hear it.
Right?
Let me hear it.
And I don't think they'll do it. But he did mention, if you listen to Mike Shilt's postgame the other day in Seattle, they were going to put Jake Cronenworth at shortstop the following inning if they tied it up.
Brian, can you find that if you have it from 2 days? Would you have that sound from Mike Schilt postgame 2 days ago? See if you can find the part where he was asked about Bogaerts, but continue.
They were going to put in Jake Cronenworth at shortstop, and that would then have Luis Ariz move to second, where he's played, I think, 1 inning this year for the Padres, and then Ryan O'Hearn at first. I think their most optimal, best lineup, and this will include when Jackson Merrill returns, their best lineup, to me, might be Jake at short, Ariz at second, O'Hearn at first, Liriano in left, Merrill in center, Sheets as your DH. That might be their best lineup, but I don't think they'll view it that way because they like to think about defense a lot. And defensively, that might not be also their best lineup either.
So that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that they put such a premium. We just had a conversation off air about the Padres offense and how they resemble a team from like the 2010s where you try to small ball your way to a win. Right. You move guys. This was before I knew about Xander. Like the way the Padres fancy themselves is not a team winning 9-6 games, but a team winning 3-2 games. And I think even with Bogaerts out, and again, you're right, he's a serviceable offensive player. He's a major league average hitter, but now you go from major league average to major league below average with Iglesias, if that's a switch. I think they'd almost prefer it. I think they'd say, you know what, let's double. Yeah, the reason I say it, I don't prefer it. The reason I think they may prefer is say, let's double down on our efforts to be strong up the middle defensively. And let's also do enough where we get a guy on, get him over, get him in. Nothing changes. Xander wasn't necessarily that guy either way. I just feel like they doubled down on their efforts to be the team they want to be. as opposed to leaning into the best offensive scenario. I think we might see a little bit of both. By the way, this was Mike Schilt post-game 2 days ago, right, Brent? This is Mike Schilt.
We're finding out about Bogey right now. They're doing some imaging, so, I got him good, and he's a tough guy, as we all know. And, for him he wasn't going to go back out. We were going to tie the game, go ahead, and Crony was going to go play shortstop. But we're going to find out about him soon. Low, I don't think there's any concern at the moment, at least for us.
That's all we needed. So that was 2 days ago, and that's fair. Mike Schilt didn't know it was broken probably in that exact moment.
But you can just tell by the tone of his voice.
Yeah, that's what we said. So a broken foot is a significant injury, obviously, and now he's on the IL, and they have to deal with it.
And when we talked to Kevin later that day, Kevin did say, he went to the clubhouse, Xander didn't look like he was in a bunch of pain, right? But then again, you can probably be kind of okay or feel like you're okay right after the fact, and then you sleep on it and you 100%. Wake up the next morning and it's swollen and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Like if you have a hairline foot fracture, you may or may not know, but if you have a hairline foot fracture, and I don't know if it is, you can't play on it. And I don't even know what the prognosis for something like that is. I know Kevin has reported that there's a chance he's back prior to the postseason, but just do the math. I mean, if you break a foot, 4 weeks, season ends September 28th. That's less than 1 month from today. That's when the season ends.
You know what I do nowadays when I
go
need
to
something answered?
ChatGPT.
I go to ChatGPT.
I know you do, but I don't know if it works for athletes always. Like it said with Merrill, it could be like weeks and weeks and weeks, but Merrill could be activated tomorrow.
So I just asked ChatGPT, how long will it take to return from a non-displaced fracture in your left foot? A non-displaced foot fracture usually takes about 6 to 8 weeks to heal.
Okay.
But the exact timeline depends on which bone, the severity of the break, the treatment, and yada, yada, yada.
Well, 6 weeks is the middle of the postseason. 4 weeks from today, the season is basically over. It ends September 28th. Today's August 29th. Mm-hmm. So you got 30 days. Does he come back? But here's the other question. The Padres are making the postseason. We all agree. Maybe you get Bogaerts back for the postseason. What does this do for your push? These 28 games where the margin is so thin, where you need to make up ground. You're still trailing the Cubs and the Dodgers, right? You're in this competitive National League. Now you're playing a schedule that lines up, and that begins right now against the Minnesota Twins. It doesn't change your schedule that's lightened up. And they've dealt with injuries here recently. Jackson Merrill currently is on the IL. Michael King, we haven't seen him since May, other than 2 innings. I mean, by and large, they get by when dealing with things. And I'm assuming they're going to get by again. I think the number one question is the question you asked. Do they lean into offense and get cute, so to speak, putting like Luis Arias, who hasn't played second in 2 years? Do you play him at second? Or do you lean into what you do well, which is play good defense, pitch well, move guys over, and win 3-1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious to see what they're going to do. But just back to the whole Bogart situation, last year when Ha-Seong Kim got injured and it forced them to move Xander back to short,
right?
It turned them into a better team. Just like the dynamic of things,
right?
It made them better. And then, Kim wasn't going to return and Xander's at short, Cronenworth's at second instead of Cronenworth at first. And I felt like the dynamic of the team last year heading into the postseason with those moves in place was a better fit for things. This year, there is no backup, so to say, for Xander for an everyday role. Same thing with Manny. And same thing with Tatis.
That's exactly right.
There's no backup for an everyday role there. You can get a bye with guys missing a series or guys missing a couple days here and there. But as far as your everyday shortstop now, which I think is going to be a little bit of a revolving door. I don't think they're just going to say, hey, Jose Iglesias, this shortstop for the rest of the season.
Right.
I think that's going to make things a little complicated and tricky. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. This is a bad break. Obviously, no pun intended.
But look at it this way. Last year, they lost Toddy for 2 months. Toddy was way more of a significant offensive piece in real time than Xander Bogaerts is today in real time.
Yeah.
And David Peralta, to his credit, had a 750 OPS last year for the Padres. And collectively as a team, I'm not putting this on Toddy, but the truth is the truth. Collectively as a team, they played way better without him. Remember? I mean, they took off without Fernando Tatis Jr. So this isn't some death knell. This isn't some, it can't be overcome. This isn't losing Nick Pivetta the day before the postseason.
Yeah, or Manny Machado
right now to a broken foot. That is a completely different conversation. And I would still probably argue, listen, they lost Tatis last year and they played good baseball without him. But Xander Bogaerts, I think it's a loss. And there's also this in sports sometimes. It's like at one point, it's too many dominoes falling over. And I'm not saying it's today. Merrill's been out. Again, you could argue they've been better in the lineup without him. King's been out. They've overcome it, to their credit.
Yeah.
They've overcome it. Now Xander's out. I'm just saying, like, okay, maybe you can overcome it, but you can't keep dealing with injuries over the final month of the year.
No.
At some point, it's going to be huge, huge problems for the Padres. And hopefully it's not now. But now it's like you're crossing fingers you can get to October as close to healthy as you can be.
Guys are going to need to step up. Obviously, that's without saying. And it's next man up in this situation. But I don't want to downplay the potential significance of this injury either. You know, they're going to have to move on. They're going to have to go and they're going to have to try to win the National League West or get the 4 seed and try to win a World Series. You know, they don't have time to sulk here and be like, oh, what are we going to do without Xander now? Now Xander's not a big like offensive piece of the puzzle here, but he still is above average, right? Serviceable. I mean, he wasn't playing like he was the start of the season, and then he got red hot, and then he's definitely cooled off of late.
Yep.
But I just look at the alternative is why this feels like a pretty significant injury, which the alternative is a guy with a 90 OPS.
Yeah, he has really struggled. I mean, I go back to, let's just do this. The day Bogaerts got hot in LA, I mean, basically turned his season around. I do think that's fair. From that moment on, Jim, he's got an 835 OPS, has hit 303. He's been a very productive player. There have been highs and lows. I completely agree with that. I mean, listen, we've been critical. I mean, make no mistake, we've been very critical. He's hit 303 with an 835 OPS in 59 games, playing every single day.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a big part of their team. Not the biggest, but he's been a significant part of their team, playing every single day and playing effectively for 2 months. Now they're without him for a month or more. But they're certainly without him. You would have to imagine until the end of the regular season in 29 or 30 days.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee that when he returns right away, he's going to be good for you. I mean,
completely.
Like the position that you play, your feet are pretty important. Like, you know, and also
hitting, timing,
all that stuff. It's a blow. It's a blow to this team. It's unfortunate. It's probably the most unfortunate news you could have right now is one of your regular players, everyday shortstop, is now probably going to miss the rest of the season.
I mean, I remember the moment. Like, we'll react to this on the other side. When did it happen? He smoked a ball off his foot.
Yeah, that was brutal.
He smoked a ball off his foot, and you saw it in real time, his reaction to it. So Xander's out. What does it mean for the Padres' chances to win this division and secure a better seed in the National League? J.R. Tover on last night at Snapdragon Stadium. Kevin Acey at 4 p.m. We've got a great show for you over the next 4 hours. We're here until 6 p.m. The breaking news, Xander Bogaerts out with a broken foot. Don't go anywhere. It's John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, remember to download the all-new iHeartRadio app and then search for San Diego Sports 760 and put us in your presets. Put John and Jim in your presets. You can listen live to any show. You can listen back to any hour or interview with the all-new iHeartRadio app. JR Tolver, Aztec for Life on last night at Snapdragon Stadium. He'll join us in about 10 minutes. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network at 3, and then Kevin Acey with more on Xander Bogaerts' foot fracture. He will join us live at 4 p.m. And again, if you're just tuning into the show, the breaking news in the last 20 minutes is that Bogaerts has been placed on the 10-day IL with this foot fracture. Kevin Acey reporting he could return. Again, keyword being, I'll read the exact tweet here from Kevin Acey because Kevin was the one to break the story. And then he said that Xander Bogaerts has a chance to be back for the postseason, per Kevin Acey. A chance, not could, has a chance to be back expect Bogaerts has a chance to be back.
I say that again.
The Padres expect Bogaerts has a chance to be back.
Okay.
For the postseason.
Now it doesn't say when. It could mean
postseason.
It could mean if they make the World Series,
True.
He could be back then. It could mean if they make the NLCS, he could be back then.
Yep, you're right.
It could mean, hey, he'll be back by the wild card round.
Yep.
But we don't know the exact timetable for this. We don't know when in the postseason he's referring to. We don't know how bad the foot fracture is. And plus, when he heals up, it's not like a video game. You can't just be like, oh, 100%, go back out there. And you look exactly how he looked before.
Yeah, even if your foot is great, is your bat great? You know what I mean? Is your fielding great? You have the greatest foot in the world. You take a month off from doing something.
I know.
It's hard to get right back into the swing of things. It's a loss, man. It's a big question mark for the postseason. My whole thing right now is whatever seed they are is whatever seed they are. We can argue that. We can discuss it. We can tell you they have a better chance to win a World Series with a better seed. But at the end of the day, they want to put themselves in the best position from a roster perspective in the postseason. We talk about the 5 horsemen or whatever. You need them healthy. We talk about this lineup. They have to be healthy. So when you're dealing with injuries, that's the biggest concern for me. What's more important than seeding is injuries. And the Padres are dealing with injuries.
And we were about to have a discussion today about the 2-hole. Now that conversation feels like it doesn't even matter right now because this injury takes precedent to everything else.
I mean, you got regulars out. Xander plays every day. Jackson Merrill plays every day, right? Now Merrill's coming back, we believe.
But we don't know when.
Kevin's reported with us and on the internet this weekend.
Okay.
You know,
I'll believe it when I see it.
I know, but I mean, we'll ask Kevin at 4 p.m. The latest on Jackson Merrill. Plus, we'll hear from Mike Schilt this afternoon.
Oh, you think Mike's going to tell us exactly what? He's like, actually, guys, he's going to return on Sunday afternoon.
No, but he was with the team in Seattle, right?
He was. Of course he is. He's not going to leave them.
I think he's close to returning. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't. He didn't break something.
He didn't.
You know, to the best of our knowledge.
But still, an ankle sprain and bone bruise is still an injury hurts, man.
Well, I'm sure it hurts, but again, I don't think Jackson Merrill's an injury we have to worry about like long term.
Long term, yes.
Where I think Xander Bogaerts, we have to worry about his injury long term.
Yeah, healing a bone is different than healing an ankle sprain.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean the injuries and then the whole King thing. I mean, the Michael King injury is probably the biggest of them all. Probably the biggest of them all, as the calendar's about to flip to September, and we're not going to see King until who even knows.
Yeah.
And then he's going to have just a few starts to get ready. So it's a significant loss. So we'll see how they try to overcome it. What's the Padres lineup, for example, today?
It's funny because the lineup came out right before our show and I looked at it. I didn't even look at the rest of the lineup after 2 because we were going to have a discussion today about the 2-hole.
Right.
So I didn't even realize Xander wasn't in the lineup.
Right. That's my point.
Because this lineup came out 32 minutes ago at 1:52, right before we got on the air.
Right.
And I didn't even look. So, okay, Tatis is leading off. Arise is at first, hitting second. Manny's at third. O'Hearn's your DH. Liriano's in center. Sheets is in left. Iglesias is at short. Cronenworth's at second. And Fermin's behind the plate.
I still think it's a decent enough lineup with that power in there when you think about the Sheetses and the O'Hearns.
Now, but here's the thing, though. When Merrill returns, okay?
Yeah.
If they are deciding to keep Iglesias at short mostly every day, and you replace Jackson Merrill with, either O'Hearn or Sheets, probably Sheets is the odd man out. then your lineup does not look as good as it does right now.
Completely agree.
So that's where the conversation has to come is, all right, are we going to put the best 9 out there for the best lineup possible? Or are we going to sit one of our better players in Gavin Sheets that brings an element to our team that we just don't have, which is power and a threat at the plate, and sit him on the bench?
That's a great point.
Because Jackson Merrill doesn't bring that to this team this year. He's had a really, I'm not going to say he's had a bad season, but he's had an average season at best. It's a significant drop off from last year. And when you put Jackson in there, you drop down in production. So, like, what are they going to do when Merrill gets back is the question.
It's a huge question. And I would go down the path of Schilt, with his hard-headedness, would prefer to do what he likes to do, which is to kind of trust the guys he's trusted all year, lead with defense, lead with small ball, as opposed to lead with his offense. But I don't know. I can't. It's not my preference. I'm just basing it based on what I've seen from Mike Schilt over the last 2 years. I don't know if that'll be the facts of the matter or not.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't particularly like that strategy, but also it goes back to who they are as a baseball team.
Exactly.
They are not a baseball team that wants to try to outslug you. They're going to want to get runners on, bunt them over, get them in any way possible, sack bunt, a suicide squeeze, safety squeeze, sack fly, RBI ground out. Like, they want to scratch and claw, and they want to make this thing. They want to kill you by 1,000 paper cuts, not just one big blow. Pause. So this is a team that I think is going to value defense more than offense, and we're probably going to see some lineups that fans won't like because it will be guys in there that offensively this year haven't had great years.
It could be more sack Diego than slam Diego in September.
Put it on a shirt.
San Diego.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to switch gears momentarily with J.R. Tolver, who was on the TV call last night for San Diego State's impressive shutout win in their opener, 42-0. J.R. Tolver joins us on the other side, then back to the Padres again. Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 4 p.m. We're reacting to the news of Xander Bogaerts going on the IL with a broken foot. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. We'll start with the breaking news with the Padres. Xander Bogaerts is going on the IL with a broken left foot. No timetable on his return. We'll hear from Mike Schilt coming up later in the show. Last night, the Aztecs picked up their first win of the season in their home opener over Stony Brook, 42-0. Next up, they'll travel to take on Washington State on the road next Saturday night, 7:15 kickoff time there. And SDFC takes on LAFC Sunday night, 7:45 kickoff, 7:15 pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll get back to this breaking news. Xander Bogaerts out with a fractured foot. His return to be determined in terms of if he will be available this postseason for the San Diego Padres. But also last night, Aztecs, as Jim just told you, win big over Stony Brook in their opener at Snapdragon Stadium, 42-0. J.R. Tolver did a little bit of everything. The Aztec for life. He was on our pregame coverage on San Diego Sports 760. He calls the game on KUSI. I was watching back the replay earlier today, JR. I really enjoyed the call. So first of all, thanks for hopping on. It's been too long. Secondly, what did you think of the offense and the quarterback play from both Jaden Danigal and Bert Emanuel Jr. last night? And thanks for doing it.
Yeah, man. Listen, I thought, number one, Jaden Danigal, the ball flies off his hand. That was the first thing that I noticed. You know, I'm a lefty as well. So I obviously noticed, you know, as a receiver, former receiver, catching from a left-handed quarterback can be a little bit tricky if you haven't done it. But Jaden's, the ball just, I don't even know a good way to describe it. The ball jumps out of his hand really, really, really well. That was the first thing that I noticed. And I also noticed that he's tough. You know, he came in and I was pretty sure he was going to miss the game with a separated shoulder or something. And as bad as that looked, you know, he only missed 3 or 4 plays and he came back in, and one of his first plays, he was running a guy over like he was Bronco Nagurski. So, you know, you got a guy that can throw the football. You know, you got a tough guy who, despite, you know, how he feels physically or maybe mentally, he's always going to go out there and give the team what they have. So those were the two positives that I saw very quickly on. Like, man, these guys have a dude that they can actually really rally behind. One of the things that I didn't like was I felt like there were times where he could have used his legs. He's obviously a very, very athletic football player. There was one time, I think it was 4th down. Instead of, you know, using his legs and trying to pick up the first down, he decided to try to force the ball in, and the Aztecs turned the ball over. And then, obviously, I think the completion percentage was, to me, another negative for him. You know, quarterbacks these days, they really like to be in that 65 to 70% plus from a completion ratio percentage. He was 50%. And I think that was because he did make, you know, a few errant throws. You know, there weren't guys out there dropping the ball or anything like that. So 2 positives. Kid's got great talent from an arm standpoint. He's tough as nails. And then, like I said, the negatives, I think, was, you know, sometimes when you're athletic, go ahead and use that athleticism to get your team the first down by picking up the yards. And then, you know, we got to get above that 60% completion ratio if we're going to have a chance to be the offense that they want to be.
On the flip side, JR, the defense, with a lot of returning players from last year, held them under 100 yards. I get it. It's Stony Brook, right? We'll see what they do against Washington State next week. But, I mean, you got to play who you play. And to hold them under 100 yards, I think they got in their own territory maybe one time all game. It was kind of crazy. What'd you think of the defense and how they played last night?
Yeah, really enjoyed the way the defense have played. You know, Tano Latuli stepped up right away, made a big play with the tip ball. You know, we've talked a lot about the corners, Chris Johnson and Bryce Phillips. I thought they did a fantastic job, not only in coverage, but San Diego State is being very aggressive. They sent a couple of cat corner blitzes, and Chris and Bryce both did a great job, I think, of making their presence felt. Obviously, you made a big deal going into the season about Trey White. He had 60 tackles last year, 40 solo, 18.5 tackles for loss, 12.5 sacks. He's a dynamic player. He was pretty quiet last night, but I think that's going to happen until teams realize that there's somebody else that they're going to have to block. And I thought we saw a lot from, August Salvatore did a great job of coming in and getting a sack and getting another half a sack. And the coaching staff is really big on August. They've talked about his swag, so to speak, as a pass rusher. They're saying he's, potentially the best pass rusher on that team, and he showed up. I think Owen Chambliss played a great game as well. I thought the defense did a really good job. Now, would we have liked to have seen the defense get a turnover? Absolutely. When it comes down to really winning games with your defense and defense helping you win championships, that usually comes from the defense creating fumbles and getting interceptions. We didn't see that last night. And to your point, you have to play who you have to play, but the kid that they played last night, the running back, is phenomenal. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. He's the type of kid you could see playing in the National Football League pretty easily, because that's a size, weight, and strength, speed league, and he has all three of those qualities. And yes, they did an absolutely great job of bottling him up and bottling up that whole Stony Brook team. So, if I had to grade the defense, I'd give them a B+, A-. I thought they came out, played with great energy, made a lot of tackles, didn't miss very many tackles. The only thing that we missed last night was them turning over the football.
J.R. Tolver with us right now, again on the call last night on TV. Of course, the Aztec for life, just a terrific receiver on the Mesa at San Diego State. So what's it like for you, J.R., when you see 3 San Diego high school tailbacks all get opportunities? I'm looking at Lucky Sutton last night. He goes over 100 yards. Byron Cardwell Jr. is out of San Diego. Christian Washington back home from Helix, back home to San Diego State. I mean, that's pretty unique, isn't it, to have 3 out of San Diego County in the backfield?
It is. And I think, number one, that running back room is dynamic, and it was great to see. Last year, we got a heavy dose of Marquez Cooper. I think he had over 90% of the carries last year. Last night, we saw a heavy dose of Lucky Sutton, who, got his first career 100-yard game. But we also saw sprinkles. And I think that's the mix that the Aztec fans were hoping for last year that they got this year. But, you get 3 great running backs that come out of San Diego County. Shay, you remember we called Washington's game his senior year, and he is just – I think he scored 5 touchdowns 4 different ways when we saw them playing against Granite Hills as his senior year. So he's a dynamic player. I'd be remiss to say it, and I mentioned this on the broadcast, Coach Lewis is being very intentional about being aggressive in San Diego, and I love it. It's not only, hey, listen, we're going to go after all the guys in San Diego. That's one thing. If those guys get away from us, hey, we'll be here when you're ready to come home. That's another thing. But the third thing that he said to me in our call earlier in the week before the broadcast was, we are building relationships in the community. We're going to the guys who we know influence the guys. We're building the relationships with Eric Weddle at Rancho Bernardo and Nick Barnett, at Del Norte, Fale Pumele, who's the San Diego State alum up at Oceanside, Shane Walton, who's the head coach at Bishops, played at Bishops and went to the National Football League. The Verlaine Batofe, who's building a powerhouse in Mount Miguel. He said, we are building these relationships in the community because we really want to build a fence around San Diego as it pertains to our athletes. And now we got 2 options. If we don't get them when they come out of high school, that's fine. We'll keep them on our radar. And if they're not happy where they are, we will welcome them back home. So I think Coach Lewis and his staff have done a really good job of making San Diego recruits a priority. And we saw that last night on the field with a lot of the kids Trey White and Lucky Sutton, a lot of those guys that are on the field, Tano Latubi, that are playing for the app.
It's an amazing number of guys. I don't know the exact number. I think it's 18 plus out of San Diego County at San Diego State right now. It's an incredible number. JR, again, we appreciate you doing it. We're looking forward to having you with us throughout the course of the season. Again, you'll hear JR Tolver on pregame coverage, which includes this upcoming Saturday night, a week from Saturday, when the Aztecs head to Pullman to take on Washington State. JR, thanks for doing it. We'll do it again soon. And I hope you're doing well, man.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
Great stuff from J.R. Tolver, who, again, was a terrific receiver here at San Diego State. We're going to get back to the news of the hour. Xander Bogaerts is out. For how long? He's got a broken foot. What does it mean for the Padres moving forward? Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network. She will join us coming up at 3 p.m. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network will join us coming up in about 13 minutes. Kevin Acee joins us live at 4 p.m. with more on the breaking news that Xander Bogaerts is on the IL with a broken foot. We will hear from Mike Schilt. He's expected to speak with the media, and we will bring you that conversation. Remember, the Padres and the Twins meet just after 5 p.m. today in Minneapolis. When you turn your attention to the field, we talked about this well before we knew about Xander. We said, well, you're two back at the Dodgers, who also have the light schedule now coming up. It felt like the type of series you can't afford to lose. And that remains the case even with Xander Bogaerts out. It's Nestor Cortez tonight. It's Nick Pivetta on Saturday in game 2 of the series. And, you know, whether you got Bogaerts or not, you have to win, you'd think, 2 of the next 3 games in Minneapolis.
Yeah, there's no excuses.
No, there's not going to be at the end of the year.
No, you're not going to say, oh, they didn't win the division because they didn't have Xander Bogaerts.
Right. No one's going to say that.
Now, if the entire team got injured, you'd have an excuse. But you don't. Next man up. Go out there and you got to win baseball games. You're expected to win baseball games. No one's going to throw you a pity party. Mike Schilt is going to say as much. You don't think Mike Schilt's going to come out today and be like, you think, let me rephrase that. Do you think Mike Schilt's going to come out today and say, you know what? Actually, without Xander, I think our season's over.
I could see that, yeah. No, he's not going to say that.
He's going to say the opposite. He's going to say next man up. He's going to say we have enough talent here to compete and we feel good about our chances. And he's going to pump up his team even with the loss of Xander.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be like, you know, I really like this opportunity Mason McCoy is going to have. I've gotten some really good reports.
Will Wagner. Oh my gosh.
No, you're exactly right. And guess what? They've dealt with it before. Other teams have dealt with it before. They lost Fernando Tatis Jr. to a broken leg last year. And by the end of the season, we're playing some of the best baseball in the sport. It's the type of sport where you never can put too much emphasis on any one player. We've done this exercise so many times. You could lose your best player. You could lose your worst player. They all have some type of impact. I still think when you look at the Padres in the second half of the year or post-trade deadline, they've played well. Just go back to this point. The 3rd of July on, they've still outplayed the Dodgers significantly by 7 games. Now, the issue is what's played out over the last week or two. Like the Dodgers have heated up enough.
And they've gotten healthier.
They're getting healthier, and the Padres have cooled off enough where a 1-game division lead has now become a 2-game deficit, which is really 3. That was always a concern with the Dodgers. But the number one thing is the health. Like Padres can play well, but you need them to be fully healthy. Mm-hmm. Dodgers might have been playing poorly, but they weren't fully healthy. And that's why, like, I don't know if the stars align. You get King and Bogaerts and Merrill and whatever else all back and effective 1 month from today.
And to the Padres' credit, they've made this thing a race. They took advantage of the Dodgers' injuries and their poor play, and they've gotten back into this thing to now we'll see what happens this weekend with the Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers play the D-backs at home, I think. Yeah, so they play them at home. We'll see what happens. And come September 1st, Labor Day on Monday, we'll see if they're still 2 back, if they're 1 back, if they're tied. You know, like we don't know. Or is it going to turn into a disastrous weekend where you get up on Monday morning and you look at the standings and the Padres are 4 back, 5 back. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I'm just throwing out every scenario out there. You hope that you take 2 or 3 from Minnesota here, go Arizona this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona takes 2 or 3 from the Dodgers.
And you're game out.
And now you're game out on September 1st, even with all the injuries and the problems that you have.
Right.
And it's still go time. No one's going to sit here and feel sorry for you. Like the season's not going to stop to get your team healthy. You got to go out there and you got to perform. You got to play. And guys like Manny Machado, those guys got to step it up.
I go back to at the deadline, we're like, well, they've put together this, roster without weak links. And then things got too good. And Michael King went back on the IL. Like there was that moment in time.
Like 2 innings, the team was fully healthy.
It was before the road series at Dodger Stadium, was it not? That he went on the IL?
Yes, it was right before
we were at
that.
Snapdragon. So think about that. I mean, they were playing brilliantly. They'd made up 10. They went from 9 back to 1 up. It was going, like we always say in this, universe, it was almost going too well. And from that moment on, King out, Merrill out, Bogaerts out. So it's less to me about how they've played, and it's more to me about overcoming these injuries. And something I said to start the show, which is like, You can deal with injuries. You're right. Nobody's going to use the Bogarts excuse. But there's that domino effect where at one point it's like, how much are you going to overcome in an effort to win at a really high level in the postseason? And I'm with you. We're not going to say at the end of the year, they had everything they needed, but Bogarts is out. So let's see if they can do it in 2026. That won't be the line of questioning. But I'm telling you that if they lose another critical piece in there, it's just getting harder and harder and harder to win.
Don't get me wrong. Xander's a critical piece. He's a very critical piece because you don't have anybody behind him. And while he's not having this all-star season, the numbers that you read,
yeah, he's been good.
At the start of the show, he's been more than serviceable for you. He's actually been very good for you the last 35, 40 games.
59 games. He's hit 303 with an 835 OPS and a 472 slug. He's been good.
He's been good. Now, recently, I don't think he's done anything spectacular because a lot of those numbers are from his hot stretch
month,
and that hot month he had when he hit that game time double at Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So the numbers could be inflated a little bit there. Like what he's done recently, he's been fine. He's been okay. But still, he's a much better option at the plate than Jose Iglesias is the point. And so when you go from Xander Bogaerts to Jose Iglesias in the lineup, you're downgrading significantly.
Yeah, and it's like the winners find solution things are like, guys got to step up. It's easy to say it. It's another thing when you give someone 100 plate appearances or you quote unquote play someone out of position. I don't mean Iglesias is out of position. I mean he's being exposed. We had this conversation about Gavin Sheets in the first half of the year. This guy's had a terrific year, but when they played him every day against lefties and righties, it wasn't as good as when he was, playing just as a platoon player. Now they're getting him back in there. He's been hot, obviously, over the last couple of months. I just feel like playing Iglesias every day is exposing. We've seen that at times this year, and it hasn't gone well. Now, could he be hot for a month? Sure. David Peralta was hot for a month or two, so it is possible. It just feels like you've definitely downgraded offensively. And what is that going to mean for a team that has been better on offense in the last month, but at times also scuffles on offense?
And I've been very critical of Xander over his first now 3 seasons in a Padres uniform. And it's, I think, deserved the criticism towards Xander. But the one thing that Xander does bring that you have to look at is he does bring that leadership and experience role. He's won 2 World Series with the Red Sox. Right. And now you lose him for the stretch run of, the most important month of your season, leading into a postseason run. You have a chance to win the division. And now you lose a leader of your team, a guy that has been there, done that, and a guy that you are, were looking to rely on in some of the biggest moments of the season, whether he would come through or not. And most of the time it didn't happen for him. But recently, the last 59 games, as you read, Xander Bogaerts has been a pretty big piece of the puzzle here for offensively for this team.
I didn't consider, and we'll talk about it in the 3:00 hour after we talk to Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network. I didn't consider the loss it means from like a clubhouse and leadership perspective. He's clearly that, even though he hasn't always been the go-to guy on offense, certainly hasn't been over the last 3 years, but he's clearly a leader among the group. And you're right, he has that experience that very few have. He's won at the highest level multiple times.
Absolutely.
In the major leagues. All right, Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network, her reaction. What did she make of this? Micah Parsons to the Packers. Plus, she's getting us ready for week 1, including Thursday night. Eagles, Cowboys without Micah to kick off the NFL season. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network next on John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Padres start a 3-game series with the Minnesota Twins tonight in Minnesota. 5:10 first pitch. Padres trail the Dodgers by 2 games in the National League West. The big news with the Padres today, though, is Xander Bogaerts going on the IL with a broken left foot. No timetable for his recovery as of right now. Last night, San Diego State picked up their first win of the season, winning their home opener over Stony Brook 42-0. Next up, they'll travel to take on Washington State on the road next Saturday, 7:15 kickoff time. And SDFC takes on LAFC Sunday night, 7:45 kickoff, 7:15 pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
A strong opener for the Aztecs.
Washington this time is in for the touchdown. The San Diegan finds the end zone, and it's 34-0 San Diego.
Big win for Sean Lewis to start season 2, and the Padres struggle in Seattle.
Game, and the Mariners win it. They win the series. They take the finale 4-3, the final score.
How will the weekend go in the Twin Cities? The weekend begins now inside the San Diego Sports 760 studios with John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. We'll get back to the news that Xander Bogaerts is on the IL with a broken foot. We have some quotes from Xander we'll share with you in about 15 minutes, but always great to connect with Cynthia Freeland, friend of the show, back with us from the NFL Network. We are less than a week away from the return of the National Football League. That is hard to believe. Cynthia, just as a football fan, and thank you again for joining us in San Diego, like just as a fan of the sport, like what's your reaction when you see the news come down, this like seismic trade in the National Football League? Like just as a fan, what was your reaction?
Look, it's fun to do the grade the trade, like all the things that we do. When things like this happen. And I'm a little annoyed because, it's a long weekend and I had to redo all my projections. So whatever, but that's selfish. No, it's fun to see and it's fun to figure out. It's also like hilarious to, all the people, the Packers are winning the Super Bowl and like just one fell swoop.
Yeah, right. It happened right before our show. And I honestly thought, Cynthia, it was a fake tweet, because if you read the tweet and you'll know where I'm going with this, he spelled Micah Parsons' name Micah Packers, and I was like, wait, this has to be fake.
Right.
It was one of those things where you're like, okay, I gotta look at this 3 times over to make sure that it's real or not. So going to the on-field side of things, just how good does this make the Packers defense, and how much is Micah Parsons going to be a difference maker for this Packers team?
I think it's a huge deal. I mean, I know the way Jeff Hafley wants to operate that defense, and I know that they were trying to figure out, like, okay, are we going to get, like, who's going to step up, right? Like, they drafted in the second round a guy last year, like Edgerrin Cooper, and, they've been trying to figure out the pass rush, and it's been one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe this year. Okay, maybe this year. This just becomes okay, it is now this year, and maybe that will help Rashawn Gary return to the kind of form that we saw a couple years back. And, you have Jair Alexander there. I understand Ja didn't play every single game last season, but he's still a really good corner. And, you have to kind of figure that out without him. So I know there were a lot of turnovers last year, and I know Xavier McKinney has cool hair, but it's going to be hard. Their interceptions and turnovers like that are a little bit of a fickle stat. There is some luck involved to actually get the turnover. So it's more, you're more likely to count on like increasing your pressure rate and realizing that will shut down teams from earning first downs. That's a smarter way to live than to live off of an interception. But they shored that up. So, I thought it was good before, and it's an excellent defense now.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, back with us right now on John and Jim. I want to get into what it means for the Cowboys, but I actually want to start by asking the question of what they got in return, the 2 first-round picks specifically. Is this what they should have received, or is this like what's the value that they should have received for Micah Parsons? Could they have done better than what they got?
I don't actually think that they could have. I mean, okay. I think the one thing that gets a little lost in the sauce here is Kenny Clark's a really good player. Right. This is a team that defense could not stop the run to save their freaking life last year. And Kenny Clark can help do that. It does change some of the equation. And now, do I know if these 2 picks that they're going to get in the future turn into good players? No, of course not. You're gambling on potential in the future. But if it's not going to work out with Micah, that's probably the highest return you would have gotten for him. And especially considering, you have to look at the nuances. The Kenny Clark deal, I think there's something like, the Packers are paying all but I want to say $2.3 million of it, which means you are getting a guy like that for the same price as a fullback, which is a less pricey position.
So where does this put the Packers, in your opinion, in the hierarchy of the NFC? I feel like the Eagles are 1, but where do you put the Packers right now?
I just reran all of my models, and I still have Detroit winning the division. Remember, they play in week 1, which is, as much as you can say, you can lock and load and plug and play a pass defender. The Lions are pretty familiar with the kind of game Micah has. And the ultimate situation there is that you don't necessarily, it Hafley does run a quite it's a little bit more complicated than just go attack type of thing. So, I still have the Lions there. I still have the Commanders ahead of them. So to me, they're solidly, number 5, but not number 5, there's just, they'd be a wild card then because, there's still be, I have the Bucks behind them, et cetera, and they would still get a home game if it were the playoffs.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, is with us. What's the impact from the Cowboys' perspective? It felt like they were on the outside looking in regardless, with Micah Parsons or without. When you just look at the NFC, where are the Cowboys in the hierarchy?
Yeah, not good. Yeah. I mean, they're above the Giants still.
Right.
It's not I'm not selling all my shares of everything to do with them. It's not a fire sale. It's not how I feel about losing the quarterback situation for the Saints. The Saints are in a much different rebuild situation. So, I mean, it's not good. But I think that if you look at the way their cap was constructed, this had to happen at some point. You can't keep signing people to all these deals this late and not amortizing it over the course of, this is boring words, I'm sorry, but you have to use these voidable years so you can actually make something that's 4 years look like it's 6 years, because that's the way the cap works. So if you're looking at the Eagles, they amortize it to the point where the guys on the field they're playing this year, cap is 275. Let's say they're playing at 365. And then, meaning if you looked at their average draft value, well, if you're playing at, 250 because you're paying back bad cap hits from before, you're at a massive disadvantage. So I think at some point they, it's probably okay, well, we can take our medicine on this one. We have to gear up to pay some other people going forward. We'll figure this out.
Who do you put the most blame on for this situation and how it unfolded here?
I don't know what the word blame, because I kind of think it's okay. I'm not as I don't think it's all gloom and doom. I feel if you're going to, it's just like every human when they threaten to, I'll walk, leverage is about whether or not you take that other option. And that's just what happened here. Leverage is the name of the game. And Micah, especially as a pass rusher, you can go a lot later because, it's not like quarterback where you have to build completely around that person. So I think that if it was going to be a divorce, it should have happened a lot sooner. But that being said, if it was going to be a divorce, might as well be divorced now as opposed to be a very middling team all year. Maybe Micah gets hurt, something bad happens, then it just becomes now we're all excited. I mean, maybe not Cowboys fans, but most of us are excited to see what this looks like. But, it would have been can you imagine if it kind of limps to the finish and then things are bad? Now it feels like a chance to be all right, let's reset the table and get started with a new team.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, with us right now. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Cynthia, do your models suggest that Micah Parsons is the NFL's best defensive player, or where does he rank among the best defensive players in the NFL?
He's up there. It's really hard to say he's number one. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was a little bit injured, and I do actually think I don't know if that back thing was posturing for another team. Probably was. He does have the highest pressure rate, but he doesn't play as many snaps as some other guys. He's right up there. Of course, he's among the best. However, I think right now, from a scarcity standpoint, I could make a really strong argument that you would want a corner to be there's more of the higher echelon pass rushers and fewer of the truly elite shutdown corners. So right now, would I sell the farm for him? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on if I think I'm a Micah Parsons away from winning the Super Bowl. But, scarcity for me dictates that corner is a far more valuable position from the standpoint of available substitutes.
Heading into week 1 next week, what's your number one thing that you are looking forward to, other than the fact that we get football back on our televisions?
I think that thing I'm most interested to see. I am a big Cam Ward believer. I'm fully on the Cam Ward train. I know this whole draft season, people are like, this isn't a good quarterback class, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think he is that dude. And I like to be right about these young guys. I like to know that the league is in good hands and that we'll have, continued great quarterback play for years to come. So I'm pretty excited to see how these rookies roll out, and specifically Cam Ward. He is actually my pick for who I would think becomes the offensive rookie of the year.
That's very interesting.
Not a lot of people are talking about Cam Ward. I feel like it's like Shador and now the Micah thing.
And he was a brilliant player.
Number one pick.
It's true, but it is. He's like an under the radar number one pick. It is interesting. Here's my question for you. After all this Micah Parsons, everyone down on the Cowboys talk, in Philadelphia, they had any shot? I mean, it's a division game. I know the line's up to like 7.5 games. It's this Thursday night, right? It's like this just pageantry galore. Do the Cowboys have any shot? Everyone appears to just completely write them off.
I mean, there's always a shot, right? The hard part for me is that this Eagles team, the places where I'm curious about their deficiencies, like will their defensive front, after losing so many pieces, be able to reload in a way that's really, really impactful? Well, the Cowboys O-line and run game is not the strength of the team. So advantage Eagles even in some uncertain times. Then I'm worried about, what's going on with the Cowboys secondary. This is even before Micah, right? Cowboys secondary. You really want to put AJ Brown up against whatever is going on in their second. Like it's just it would be a long shot, but it's not impossible.
Final one, Cynthia, is just Packers Cowboys week 4. Is it going to be the NFL's, just your opinion, is it the NFL's number one rated regular season game outside of, let's say, a Thanksgiving Day? Will that be the number one rated game?
And Christmas stuff,
like just take away like the special day maybe or two. Is this right there a top 2, 3 rated game of the year?
I mean, probably, because Cowboys always rate, like even when they're awful, like they're going to get top ratings this year. NFL already is like top 97 of the 100 most watched things in the year, NFL games. So, I mean, I think it'll be right up there. But, do I think that it's going to be a game where in the fourth quarter where it's going to be this nail biter and those ad spaces are going to be worth $1 billion? Heck no. I think it's going to be a fun pregame. It's going to be a fun first quarter. And then I think that if there are other games on, maybe play like, just check out what's going on red zone in that second half, because I don't think it's going to be a very fair fight.
Great perspective as always, Cynthia. We're excited for football, which is now 6 days away in the National Football League.
Go.
I know it's hard to believe. Thanks for doing it. We'll do it again. Thank you for hopping on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Can't wait to be back, baby.
It's amazing. Cynthia Freeland again with us here from the NFL Network. We're going to switch back. Xander Bogaerts has spoken with the media, including Kevin Acee. We have quotes from Xander. He is on the IL with a broken foot. How long does he expect to be out? We'll share that with you. On the other side, we'll hear from Mike Schilt coming up as well. Kevin Acee joins us live at 4 p.m. Do not go anywhere. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We have some Padres updates for you. We do want to remind you the iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by Bryan Adams, John Fogerty, and more, September 19th and 20th at T-Mobile in Vegas. 2 nights, one stage. Buy tickets at AXS.com. And while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending money. Next chance to text and win happens at 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760. All the info at sportsst.com/festival.
Everything's fine, John.
So what are the updates on Xander and the rest of the injured brigade?
So Xander spoke with Kevin, said, quote, couple of weeks, and I'm looking to be back, hopefully, right before the regular season ends.
Okay.
There's more in there.
The player is hopeful he can return before the end of the year.
Yeah, those are the cliff notes. Is he's very hopeful that he's going to return before the season ends.
Now remember last year, the shoulder, he did come back sooner than later. And then when he came back from the shoulder, he was really good for a brief period of time.
He was, yeah. Also, Kevin says that Jackson Merrill is in Arizona getting live at bats. Looks like a return next week versus the Orioles if all goes well.
If all goes well. So that's only a couple of games away.
And then he also is reporting Michael King threw a simulated game against minor leaguers in Fort Wayne today. 4 innings, 60 pitches. Orioles series also seems likely for his return. So everything's fine.
Does it surprise you that Michael King would go to Fort Wayne to throw a sim game? Is that right? Go to Fort Wayne to throw a sim game.
Well, let's just think about this real quick. So
you could throw a sim game in San Diego.
Yeah.
Throw a sim game in Arizona. You could throw a sim game in Lake Elsinore.
Maybe, I don't know.
Isn't that interesting? Well, whatever.
I was thinking like, well, maybe he was on the last road trip and it just was easier to him to go to Fort Wayne, but they were in Seattle.
Yeah, maybe he was just visiting friends.
Yeah.
But okay, so now we're circling the Orioles series maybe for both King and Merrill, and it sounds like Xander Bogaerts is circling returning. Based on what he said there to Kevin, certainly for the postseason, if not before. This is according to Xander, but here's the thing. Xander, just like you or I, we can't make bones heal.
No.
It's going to be based on doctors' recommendations.
He doesn't have any magic superpowers.
But he did say he's been a quick healer, which I think is evidenced by what happened last year with his shoulder. So maybe. Kevin wrote in that article, it's 3 to 8 weeks would be typical for his injury. So 3 weeks would be in the regular season. 8 weeks would be at the end of the World Series.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we're not going to see the, x-rays and MRIs of his foot or know the exact severity of it.
Even if we saw the x-rays,
we would have no idea. No clue. But it seems like the messaging that he's received is it's not as significant as it could have been.
Yeah, but he's non-displaced is a positive in this conversation.
Right.
We've had this conversation before.
Yeah. So it could be a small fracture that would lend him to be able to return quicker.
Right.
Which is what it sounds like he's saying without saying it. Like when he's hopeful and he's upbeat about returning in just a couple weeks before the regular season ends, that would lend me to believe that the news that they got after doing all these tests was it's not that bad, but still the definition of the injury is
a break. Yeah, he's got a break. And even let's just go down the path that he could be back with a week to play in the regular season. That's best case, right? That's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's not going to be before that, right?
No.
If you go down that path, that means they're going to play 21 or 22 games without him. There's only 28 games left.
Yeah.
So if you came back for the final week and there's 6 games, that means they have 22 games to play. That's still a healthy dose of Jose Iglesias or a healthy dose of what they may do otherwise. Like if it's not Iglesias and they're willing to move a Jake Cronenworth over, if they're willing to put Luis Ariz at second to maximize their lineup, we're going to see a lot of it for an extended period of time.
Here's 100% what will not happen. Just to make this completely clear to Padres fans out there. The Padres will not put Jackson Merrill back at shortstop. The Padres also will not put Fernando Tatis Jr. back at shortstop. Those things are 100% not happening. So they won't even be discussed. So what
if they both played short at the same time?
You know what?
Merrill
I like that.
Tatis,
No center field. Center. I like it.
Well, you could still have a center or right, but they'll keep 5 guys on the infield and they can stand next to each other.
I do like that.
You like that? You're right. Obviously, the ship has sailed, folks. You have the best right fielder defensively you could possibly want.
It's not even a conversation.
You've got a gifted center fielder you have a gifted center fielder. Jackson Merrill's never touched the infield as a major leaguer.
No.
So, you don't want to, when you have an issue, you don't want to create additional ones. We've always said that. When you start playing out of position, that actually would be my message on some of what you're suggesting. I mean, if you play Cronenworth at short and you play Arise at second, is Mike Schilt going to think he's playing guys out of where they should be? Yes, Arise has played a lot of second, but not here in San Diego. Yes, Cronenworth has played a lot of short, but he hasn't done it recently. Mm-hmm. So it's like, are you willing to play guys, quote unquote, out of position, or would you rather be safe and stronger defensively, even if it's at the expense of your offense?
I think they're going to go the defensive route.
That's my guess. Which is boring.
It is boring. It is what it is, and it doesn't give you the most optimal lineup out possible. But I do agree that they value defense so much that they're going to put the best players out there defensively than just the best players out there with their bat.
Which is funny because you've heard me say so many times, and they don't subscribe to my theory. My theory is I like the who cares if Kyle Schwarber's in the field, he can hit 4 home runs. Like, I don't care if someone is a complete, like, what's the word I'd be, a complete disaster in the field. Like, I don't mind an extra error over the course of a 3-game series, because that's what you're basically talking about. I don't mind one additional unearned run when I can make up for it with like 14 plate appearances from a player in a series. But the Padres don't subscribe to that. They play at Petco Park. You don't hit as many home runs there. Their lineup doesn't have gifted home run hitters up and down it. Let's be honest. No one's hitting 30 home runs on their team this year. Yes, they have more power now with Laureano, O'Hearn, and Sheets playing, but we know how they want to win. And I know who Mike Schilt is as a manager. The Cardinal way, right? Like, he's thinking about fundamentals and margins as opposed to let's go hit 3 home runs every single night.
I do think defense has to be valued somewhat. You can't have just a complete.
But they value it enough. I mean, you got Tatis and Merrill and Machado defensively. So, like, point is, like, don't you kind of have enough where who cares if you give up a little? Cronenworth at short and Arise at second, you're not fielding the Moneyball A's.
Right.
I get it. You used to have, like, Cronenworth's a good defender. Mm-hmm. Arise is a below average defender, but he's not a complete disaster.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they do, but my guess is it's going to be a lot of Jose Iglesias.
Probably. You're probably right.
And it's not the most exciting thing. In fact, it's the most boring thing. And Jose Iglesias, he's got to pick it up because he's not been good with the bat all year. Defensively, though, like, he's great. We've seen it.
It's good.
He is probably one of their better defensive players on the team. Would you say that? I would say that.
Absolutely. He's one of their better defensive players.
Like, one could argue he's better defensively at third base than Manny Machado right now.
Yeah, I mean, Manny's been down defensively.
So at shortstop, you're probably going to get an upgrade there defensively. Problem is, the upgrade you get at shortstop defensively, you're getting a way worse downgrade offensively from the loss of Xander.
That's exactly right. What do you guys think? What should they do with this lineup with Xander Bogaerts out for at least a few weeks? 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with the word team. We are just getting started, by the way. We're here until 6 p.m. Kevin Acee will join us at 4. We'll catch up on the Twins' point of view with their radio voice. Corey Provis will join us coming up at 4:30. But Kevin Acee at 4. We continue to react to this news. We'll hear from Mike Schilt pregame as well, as he will speak with the media. So we expect to hear from Mike Schilt coming up as well. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Lexus El Cajon. Bring luxury home. The big news with the Padres today, Xander Bogaerts has been placed on the IL with a left foot fracture. No timetable on his return. Padres start a 3-game series in Minnesota tonight against the Twins. 5:10 first pitch. Padres are 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. Last night, the Aztecs picked up their first win of the year in their home opener against Stony Brook, winning 42-0. Next up, they'll travel to take on Washington State on the road next Saturday night, 7:15 kickoff time. And this Sunday night, SDFC takes on LAFC, 7:45 kickoff up in LA. 7:15 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Experience true luxury from Lexus El Cajon, where you'll get a great deal during the Golden Opportunity Sales event on any Lexus in stock. See why they're ranked #1 for customer service. Visit LexusElCajon.com. Bring luxury home from Lexus El Cajon.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Kevin AC will join us live from the Twin Cities. Can you name the Twin Cities? Ho, 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 ho! Can you name the Twin Cities, Jim Russell? Now that is a question. They wear a TC on their hat for the Twin Cities.
Minneapolis?
Well, yeah, is the Twins play there.
That's one of them.
Minnesota.
Minnesota's the state.
Yeah, I know.
That's it.
Minneapolis.
And no looking.
I'm not looking anywhere. Dude, I got nothing. What is it? Am I an idiot?
It's a person's first name.
There's a professional team that plays there in the Big Four.
The Big
Am
Four?
I right? No,
No, you're not right.
they might have an arena there. But that's very tricky what I'm saying.
I have no idea.
You don't know the Twin Cities.
I do. Does it look like I know the Twin Cities?
Enjoy your weekend.
Does it? Okay, fine.
Been relieved.
Does it look like I should know the Twin Cities?
No.
I live in a little pocket here in San Diego.
I know. You didn't read.
I didn't read
see
it all.
The maps.
No.
Did you have a globe in your room?
I do have a globe at my house, but it doesn't.
Yeah, we literally had a sponsorship with a globe company.
I know, but it's just the world doesn't show me like the
He
places.
marked off.
It doesn't show you Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh,
I think the hockey team, what are they called? The Minnesota Wild play in St. Paul. I could be
St. Paul,
incorrect, but
Minnesota.
I think they play in St. Paul.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Twin cities.
cities.
They're like sister cities next to each other.
Wow.
Isn't that neat?
That's pretty cool.
We'll catch up more on the Twins,
like
not
how-
on the cities with Corey Provis at 4:30.
My favorite part of the show
I got so excited.
is how I look like a complete idiot.
Well, no, it's not that. I'm not trying to set you up, but I'm like, oh,
You're
the
not
Padres
trying to set me
'cause
up.
I'm like, the Padres are playing from the Twin Cities. And then my mind goes, does Jim know what the Twin Cities are?
Exactly. You're setting me
You're
up.
kind of right. You're kind of right.
Yeah.
Before the Savannah Bananas, there was a St. Paul minor league baseball team that was known for like out of the box thinking, but that's since become
Basically, I'll
Savannah
never
Bananas.
ever do anything involving like
geography.
or maps.
If later in your life, if you're not doing radio one day, I know that's hard to envision because we'll probably be doing this for 50 years, right? This is going to be like Howard Stern show. But if there's a scenario in life where you're not doing this, if I find out you're applying to be a pilot or something, I will call the FAA
and tell them,
and I will say that you have done illegal. I don't even know what I'll say. You can't fly people.
I'm not going to fly
You're going to end
people.
up you're going to end up in wrong cities and you're going to end up in a bad spot is what's going to happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Los Angeles. Why are we over the water?
Yeah, no. There's certain things.
There's
you
more than
can't
one
do.
Albany.
I also don't want you teaching children.
What else don't you want me to do?
Just in general.
Just anything?
No. You could talk sports if you want. Despite what our listeners say, you could talk sports.
You're like, you cannot let this guy be around a working plane.
No.
Living kids.
No, none of that. No.
It can't happen.
Exactly. Tonight, by the way, we'll talk to Kevin Acey coming up at 4 p.m. Do you have thoughts on Nestor Cortez, Zebby Matthews? Tonight's pitching matchup. Cortez 2-2, 4.66. He's been fine. Zebby Matthews 3-4, 5.30. This is a Twins team, Jim, that we'll get into more with Corey Provis at 4:30. they traded away like their entire major league roster. They really did. They went like a dozen deep at the trade deadline.
Name me another player on the roster other than Byron Buxton.
Gabby Matthews, their starting pitcher tonight.
Besides that, because you just read it.
Did they trade Chris Paddock?
Oh, that's a great call.
Ooh, I think they did get rid of Chris Paddock.
I feel like they did trade him.
I'll give you another one.
Are you looking at it?
I don't even know what to say. Infielder Edouard Julian. Catcher Ryan Jeffers.
Never heard of him.
Outfielder Trevor Larnach.
Never heard of him.
Larnach?
Never heard of him.
They traded Paddock to Detroit.
Wow.
So I got nothing on the Twins. Like literally nothing.
Here's what I got on the Twins.
Kirby Puckett.
Exactly. Exactly. Here's what I have on the Twins.
Torrey Hunter.
No, he's no longer there.
Oh.
Just
Johan Santana.
No. Just go win the series. I don't think it's settling 2 out of 3 on the road. So the Twins are terrible. You have to sweep them. Twins are over 500 at home this year. So I think it's a little unreasonable to say you have to sweep them. Everyone takes it. But I'll take 2 out of 3 right now, and I'll live to see the Orioles series. And you mentioned something the other day. I think it's, 9 of 12 or 10 of 13 at home, beginning with the Orioles series.
And another thing, too, the Padres are not a good road team. So to expect them to just sweep bad teams on the road, that's going to be kind of tough. I would be curious to see how many teams they've swept on the road this year, if any.
Right. You did that whole exercise. I mean, they've been really good against the bad teams. It wouldn't surprise me if they have a road sweep.
Well, they did sweep the Giants recently, so that's on me.
That counts.
That does count.
That was like last week.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that sweep.
Is that their road sweep of the year? I feel like they had another.
Pittsburgh at the start of May. That was in the midst of their 6-game winning streak.
So Toddy got like hit or whatever, and his arm like got all big.
Yeah. So they've only had 2 road sweeps all year long. One against Pittsburgh in May, and then the other was, 2 weeks ago? A week ago? In San Francisco.
Right. Okay. So against the teams that are under 500.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh and San Francisco. What about this conversation that we haven't had today? We would have spent time on if not for the Bogarts broken bone. 619 saying, feels like the Xander injury just amplifies the Arise conversation. Can they afford to play Arise over Sheets or O'Hearn with another no-pop hitter in the lineup in Iglesias? Bet Schilt thinks they can. I don't think so.
Of course Schilt thinks they can.
That's my point. This is you're furthering my point, 619. I like it. You're furthering the conversation. My point is I think Schilt believes in who they are inherently is like pitching and defense.
Yeah.
Where we're like, hey, live a little and put your best offense out there, even if it's at the expense of your defense, or you have to play guys in different positions.
All right, so let's do the exercise.
Yeah, do it.
So the Padres lineup with their best hitters out there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tatis would be leading off in right field, right?
The lineup. Yep.
Okay. I would put probably, you got to put, if they want to go righty lefty, because they love to do that.
Right.
You could either put Jackson Merrill in the 2-hole or Ryan O'Hearn in the 2-hole.
They've used O'Hearn yet in the 2-hole? In general?
I don't believe so.
Laureano's gotten 2 games there.
Laureano has, yeah.
Okay, but I'm with you on O'Hearn going left, right, left.
Okay, so let's just put O'Hearn in the 2-hole.
Yeah.
All right. Tatis, O'Hearn. Where would you put O'Hearn? First base?
Let's just go with the exercise. O'Hearn's at first for right now. We might have to move him.
Manny's at third.
100%.
Who's your cleanup hitter?
We're saying Merrill's back, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to bat Merrill cleanup in my best lineup.
Okay, then
I would bat.
Then I would do this.
Yeah.
I would put Merrill in the 2-hole.
Well, I like that.
I'd put O'Hearn cleanup.
Yep.
Laureano 5th.
Sheets
6th. And then Xander's out.
Now we want a right-handed batter.
Well, Xander's out, so that's the problem right there.
Still lies the problem. So are we saying that Iglesias is going to be in there regardless? Basically,
Probably,
that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
We're saying Iglesias is going to be in there regardless.
Yeah.
And then Cronenworth.
Yeah. But if
your catcher.
Okay. That's just, if you want to put the best lineup out there after Sheets, you got a lot of lefties at the bottom of the order then.
What, Cronenworth? Yeah. And then Iglesias Fermin?
Probably. Or you could have Fermin Arise.
Fermin Arise.
So then Arise is hitting ninth.
He's your second leadoff hitter.
He's your second, hitting ninth. So you have two lefties back to back there with Cronenworth and Sheets, but you have the split up there and you have Arise in the 9 hole.
Yeah, I'd probably prefer that. I prefer that.
Instead of having Iglesias in there?
100%.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. I mean, Arise is even with the down year, this like off chart year from Arise, he has to be in there over Iglesias from a bat perspective.
Right.
That's not a comparison.
Okay, so Tatis leads off. Merrill hits second.
Machado.
Manny hits third. O'Hearn hits fifth. O'Hearn's cleaning up.
Laureano fifth.
Sheets sixth.
Cronenworth
seventh. Fermin eighth. Arise hitting ninth.
Those are some wins in there. That's a sneaky, decent lineup.
And then we'll worry about the positions.
I was going to say that.
You can have Sheets in left, Sheets is your DH.
Well, Cronenworth's got to play short.
Cronenworth has to play short. Arise has to play second, and O'Hearn has to play first.
Boom.
And Sheets is your DH.
Who says no?
Mike Schilt.
Exactly. Because what we just did is probably more fantasy/video game than what the Padres want to do.
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe they would do it for a game.
Mike Schilt. Well, it's not that easy.
Yeah, but it kind of is.
Yeah, we
do
just
it like
did
a
it.
4-minute exercise. Yeah,
Right.
It kind of is that easy. All right, we'll react to that coming up. Plus, we're going to hear from Mike Schilt. He has spoken with the media or is currently speaking with the media. So we do expect to hear from Mike Schilt. We'll play that for you when we have it. Plus, Kevin Acee joins us live from Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, if you will, coming up at 4 p.m. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Kevin Acee joins us live from Minneapolis and Target Field coming up at 4 p.m. So Kevin on the show at 4. Corey Provis, radio voice of the Twins, will be back with us. He's been with us before. He'll join us. Coming up at 4:30, we're reacting to the news of the day. We found out an hour and 45 minutes ago that Xander Bogaerts was being placed on the IL with a broken foot. So fouled a ball off his foot in Seattle. This was Wednesday. Left the game and has now been placed on the IL. He has spoken with Kevin. He has said he's hopeful it's a couple of weeks. He's back by the end of the regular season, but there is nobody truly knows probably. And Padres will be without him, obviously, for this weekend at Target Field and moving forward for the next couple of weeks as well.
This is a fluke injury. Ball
definitely
off the bat, hit your foot, break your foot. It's a fluke injury.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Xander's been pretty snake bit here in his career with the Padres.
Yeah, like a defensive shoulder injury.
Shoulder injury, wrist injury in his first year
right.
that he had to get a cortisone shot for. This year, the foot. I mean, it just goes back to like this team can't catch a break with this guy.
Yeah, I was going to say it goes back to like you were supposed to get his good years his first 3 years.
And now you're not.
And now you're heading to year 4 and he's coming off another injury.
And I'm not worried about the injury healing and his long-term health. What I'm just concerned is like every year there's been something.
Yep.
And not only has it been something, it's like either zapped his power or took him out for a long period of time or took him out in a crucial stretch of the season.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, it just goes back to, man, they signed this guy to be an everyday player, hit in the middle of their lineup, driving a bunch of runs, hit around 285, 300. And, you know, it's just not it, man. It's just, this guy can't stay healthy. He can't produce a consistent level for this team. He's had some really good moments, but on the flip side, he's had more bad moments than good moments.
Yeah, and I hate to do it. It's not we're not piling on Xander, really not. We've credited him for his last 2 months because he has played better. And he's had a nice 60-game stretch, and that's why it's going to hurt. But we've said it repeatedly. It doesn't need to be repeated, and you hate to, kick someone when they're down. The Boston numbers compared to the San Diego numbers aren't comparable, unfortunately. They signed the Boston player, but they're never going to get that production. So now it's like, how do you construct a roster knowing that you have that contract that's weighing on you? I mean, they've constructed rosters around him, so to speak. They've fielded good teams, 2024 and 2025. What does it mean for them moving forward? I don't know. I like what you said earlier about like, hey, here's a guy that's won at a high level. He's got the multiple rings. What value does he have in that clubhouse and from a leadership perspective? If you can get him healthy for the postseason, can he put together a couple of weeks? We've seen it before. But yeah, unfortunately, the contract, obviously, at this point. They got to deal with it.
He's going to end the year with a 717 OPS.
Right. If he doesn't return in the regular season, that's what it is.
Last year, he ended the year with a 688 OPS.
So he's been better.
Yeah, he's been better. Yeah. But, the production, 10 homers, 49 RBIs. Blah.
Yeah.
Right. He did hit 29 doubles this year. It's pretty good.
He said 17 when I looked at that stretch. In his last 59 games, he had 17.
Yeah, so the power was definitely coming back as far as double power goes.
And even, honestly, the home runs, he had 0 the first 2 months. And he's had 10 since.
He's going to finish probably with 10.
Yeah, he has 10 this year.
If he doesn't return the regular season. But, just look at his numbers from 2014 on. It's like 144 games, 156, 157, 155,
right,
144, 150.
Yeah.
Now, last 2 years, it's 111, 131.
Right. That's a great point.
He was on pace to play close to 150 games this year.
There were 28 left. Yeah. Oh, you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, it is what it is. Your best ability is your availability.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Jackson Merrill's season, I know it's probably defined as a snake-bitten year from the injuries. You could say the same thing about Xander now with his broken foot, but it is what it is, man. And we are saying the same thing about Jackson's season, is that it's a down year compared to a season last year. Saying the same thing about Xander. His last 2 seasons has been really bad for the Padres.
I don't know if I would characterize this one, and I'm not going to argue with you on it because I'm sure there's people that agree.
It's unfortunate.
My mind doesn't tell me that Xander's had a really, I don't know what the words you exactly just used, really bad. My mind doesn't say Xander's had a really bad year, but I respect it if that's how people feel. In watching him, it doesn't scream really bad year to me.
I guess what I'm doing is I'm comparing Xander
to Boston,
to and I it's very hard for me, and I think it's hard for a lot of people too. And we had Will Fleming on, and he said, like, you just got to take the contract out.
Exactly. That's if I do that, I'm like, I watch him. He's been on base a good amount.
But I can't do
I get it.
You know, I can try. I can try, but at the end of the day, my mind always goes back to that contract, and I'm looking for a certain production level from Xander.
And you're not getting it.
And this team isn't getting it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. All right, let's go to the phones here real quick because Kevin Acey is going to join us at 4 p.m. 877-767-4760. Dave back with us on John and Jim. Dave, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Just wanted to provide maybe alternative thought on this Schilt preference on his lineup. You know, that Schilt strategy where you're basically playing one run, 1,000 paper cuts, etc., works great if your starting pitching is not giving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs in the first few innings per game. You've got such an inconsistent group of starters outside of Pivetta. You don't know what you're going to get from night to night. And I'm still waiting for if you, Darvish, and Nestor Cortez, for example, if they continue to move into the month of September, at some point they're going to go through dead arm syndrome because they have not had the benefit of the entire spring training, which that's what spring training is, in the 6-7 weeks that you get is to go through that whole thing. You're now having these often injured pitchers, and the same thing with Mike King is potentially going to go through if he ever comes back. So this is where this whole season hangs in the balance, and I certainly would favor a lineup that gives you the most offensive firepower as possible because, for God's sake, you traded for this. And so you traded for this moment where you have, for once, they've got some roster depth and flexibility that they can work with here.
That's
so
a fair
why not
point.
Go with that strength?
Yeah,
right?
that's a fair point, Dave. We appreciate you calling. I mean, yeah, leaning into what AJ did at the deadline, which was offensive upgrades. So why would you lean into your defense at a time of need? Seems like that's who Mike Schilt has been, though. I mean, it really does. Even post trade deadline, he was hesitant to play Ryan O'Hearn often, specifically against left-handed pitching. Now he eventually forced his way through. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. Like, why not lean into your offense when it feels like you need your offense the most?
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
And we were potentially about to get to a point where they might have, I don't know if it was going to happen because I think Mike Schult's too stubborn to do this. There was potential there for when Merrill returned, if Arise kept on struggling, that they would have moved him either down or out of the lineup into a platoon type of role. But now there's no shot at doing that because Xander's out.
Correct, because we talked about what they need to do defensively. And you're right. Like, if you were choosing between Merrill and Arise, there's no conversation. Merrill's here for forever. Of course, he's playing.
Because that was the conversation. It was between Merrill and Arise.
And Merrill hasn't hit left-handed pitching, but Luis Arise hasn't hit left-handed pitching. You know, the truth here is because of their situation and because of Schultz's relationship anyway with Arise, they just need Arise to hit. Like, he's a capable hitter. They need Luis Arise to look like Luis Arise for a month. That would go a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the midst of his worst offensive season of his career.
It's not good. And that's what the thing about Luis Arise is look, when he's hitting 320, great. He's hitting 320. He's on base at a pretty high clip, but he also never walks. So you got to hit for a high average. If you're never going to walk, you have to hit for a high average. And if you're going to hit 280, for other players in the league, 280 is like a career year.
Right, but those guys walk.
But the thing is, like, when you're a career 320 hitter, and then now you're hitting 280 this year, you said it the other day. It's like if Manny went from 280 to 230. Like, it's a bad season.
He has a 316 on base percentage without power. So if you hit 283 and you're going to hit 34 home runs, of course, everyone said that sounds amazing. You're hitting 283 with power. He's hitting 283 without power and never gets on base other than hits. I mean, never. Yeah. A 316 on base percentage is way below Xander Bogaerts this year, who's in the 330s. So it's really gone sideways here for Luis Arise. They need him over the final month. All right, Kevin Acey with the latest on Xander Bogaerts. He was the first to report on it. Bogaerts to the IL with a foot fracture. What's the most likely timeline? Plus the updates on Jackson Merrill and Michael King from Kevin Acee, who joins us live. Coming up next, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. It's official. Xander Bogaerts is on the IL with a broken left foot. No timetable for his return. We'll talk to Kevin Acee coming up here next. Padres start a 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins tonight in Minnesota. 5:10 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the mound for the Padres. Padres remain 2 back of the Dodgers in the National League West. Last night, San Diego State, their home opener of the season, they beat Stony Brook 42-0. Next up, they'll travel to take on Washington State on the road next Saturday night, 7:15 kickoff time there. And SDFC takes on LAFC Sunday night on the road up in LA, 7:45 kickoff, 7:15 pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples has school supplies as low as 25 cents. Your back to school budget saved by the easy button. The easy button. What do you think I was going to say? Love me some Staples. That was easy.
All right, hour 3, John and Jim. We go out to Minneapolis where Kevin Acee about 2 hours ago broke the news that Xander Bogaerts is out with a foot fracture. He has also spoken with Xander as well. So, Kevin, we appreciate you taking time for us. We've been talking about this over the last 2 hours. For our listeners that have missed some of what you've written or reported on, what's the expectation when it comes to Xander and what comes next after being placed on the IL?
Well, I mean, he's going to be in a boot for a week and probably longer, and they will evaluate at that time. And, they'll hope, they believe that he'll be back for the postseason. And, bones heal differently, but at this point, that's really kind of all you can say is it looks like he'll be back for the postseason.
So going forward here, right now in the lineup today, Jose Iglesias is at shortstop. Do you expect him to move into that everyday role, or, do you think that Mike Schilt would change things up a little bit here? Because he said post-game on Wednesday that he was ready to put Cronenworth at shortstop. Do you envision him maybe doing that going forward, or what's the plan here?
I don't think that, and I've talked to him about it, and I don't think that is the plan going forward. Could Cronenworth get some time there? Sure. Depending on, what comes up. I haven't begun to think about it, but late in games, some pinch hit and then Cronenworth moves over or something like that. That could happen. But I think that we're going to see Iglesias there because Mason McCoy there. But it's going to be Iglesias.
All right, Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. And we heard Schilt post-game Wednesday when asked about Xander. It almost like he sounded pessimistic when he talked on it. But this is from that specific foul ball off his foot in Seattle Wednesday. But there was like a confluence of events he had been dealing with, right? Leading up to Wednesday, and then he just fouled a ball off and it's a freak injury? Is that what happened?
Yeah, but I mean, those are all separate from this. This was, it hit it, and it hit it good, and got the non-displaced fracture, and, but yeah, Xander's been taking a beating.
So what it seems like is going forward for the next 3 weeks potentially, or maybe even more, Schilt is going to value defense over maybe a better lineup with bats, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure what he does here. You know what I mean? I'm really not. Like, he's not moving one of the outfielders in. I'm not sure what he can do because, like, honestly, like, what if there is something, not to pull a Schilt on you, what would you do?
What I do, I would put Cronenworth at second. Short.
Uh-huh.
And I would put Arise at second base, but also I would have Iglesias fill in for Arise against lefties.
Okay. Maybe that'll happen, but I don't think so. I really don't. And I mean, they're playing the freaking Rockies and Orioles and Twins.
It's fair. It's fair.
Like, I mean, I'm not saying that like they're not. Look, I can come back to bite me. Also, we got into this mode, I think, because believe me, I asked about some of these things here, and I reluctantly, even asked about the outfielders, even though I knew the answer. We got into this thing where every guy could play every position for a while in Major League Baseball, and it's just not true. And it's just not true in September where a guy can move over. Now, I don't know that there's a bigger Cronenworth fan outside of his family than I am. But, like, I'm just not sure that's the move to have him go over and play shortstop and consider that would be better than having Jose Iglesias, who's phenomenal there. And so that's all, like, from what I see. And I get it. Like, Jim, I applaud you, man. You're constantly like Schilt is and like Preller is constantly trying to win on the margins and find everything. They're playing the freaking Rocky 7 times in the next 2 weeks. Like, they want to get to where Xander Bogaerts is coming back, Michael King is coming back, Jackson Merrill's coming back, and then we can all just argue over whether Gavin Sheets should be playing.
Fair.
You made a good. I like the point. I mean, ultimately, listen, they overcame not having like Fernando Tatis Jr. last summer and played great baseball. You're talking about one player. He had played well enough here recently, but you're talking about one player, and teams have to overcome injuries. All right, you mentioned Merrill and King. I know you've been doing reporting on this as well. Let's just start with Jackson Merrill. Expectation is he could be back as soon as when? The Baltimore series at home?
Yes. And I say King is more certain that way. Like, King would have to come, or I honestly think that King went home to San Diego. But King would have to not have recovered well for him to not be starting, say, Tuesday or Wednesday against Baltimore. Jackson needs to keep going well, needs to be able to get some outfield work done by Sunday. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. But, he's got to clear those hurdles. Whereas they believe that Michael King came out of today really well, and that it's looking like he's going to start against the Orioles.
And you talked to Xander just moments ago. See, from reading the quotes, it seems like his spirits are up. But what vibe did you get from talking to Xander?
Xander's got kind of an Aruba vibe anyway, except last year. He was really bummed in Cincinnati because that was, as he kind of alluded to today, that was a big blow to be. At the time he thought he was going to be out 2 months. He basically was. It was like 1 3/4. And so, but he's a pretty mellow dude. But you're right. He seemed pretty okay with this, as in terms of you get told you have a fractured foot, and then you're told, oh, it could be 3 weeks. Okay, great. Now, again, that's why I hemmed and hawed at the beginning. Like, we don't know. Fracture, is it 6 weeks? And then Jose Iglesias or Jay Cronenworth is starting to shortstop for game 1 of the wild card series. Yes, I said it. Wild card series.
Well, that's kind of.
By the way, like Xander, Jose Iglesias is like arguably the most clutch hitter on this team this year. I'm not trying to overplay the guy. And Xander's been hitting like 150 for the last week and a half or two, too. So, I just don't know that this is, again, I don't need to say it again. But with who they're playing, I'm not sure this is like a huge blow right now.
Well, it's interesting you say it, because I was going to ask you, like, what do you value more, seeding or health? Would you take the 5? Would you take the 5? Would you take the 5 if King looks like Michael King, or would you pass up the 2 if you didn't have King looking like King and Xander's out until the NLCS? Like, what's of more value to win a World Series, your seeding or your health?
Well, I think the health for sure. I don't know why you have to sacrifice one.
True.
But I'm tracking with you. It's a little bit but yeah, the seeding is gigantic. I think you guys have been all over that, and I couldn't really agree more. That's not to say, I think we talked about that. That's not to say that it's over if they don't get the 4 seed or the 2 seed or whatever. But health for sure.
Yeah, I think we would agree. Like, the health of this team is probably the number one story right now, even though they're trying to win a division title and get the best seed they possibly can.
It's really interesting though too, and I know you guys didn't ask this. You probably were about to tell me we only have a minute, but I'm very worried about this starting rotation, right? Like, just when I say very worried, I have no stake, but if I'm the observer of this team, I'm very worried about it. And then I think to myself, these are such different games than when they get in the postseason. If you can get 4 innings out of Dylan Cease, which isn't a guarantee, or you can get 4 innings out of Yu Darvish, you're fine, maybe, right? As long as you're scoring some runs. So my point is, maybe I should be more worried about the offense than I am about the starting pitching. It's a very interesting time to be a Padres observer or Padres fan.
I think to that point, Kevin, going to the season, starting pitching is so critically important. When you get to a postseason series, you're right. If you get 4 good innings out of somebody and you have the lead with this bullpen, more often than not, you're probably going to deploy your bullpen. But in a regular season, you need guys to eat up innings. So for the final month of the season, Yeah, I would argue, and I would agree with you. Like the starting pitching is a concern in the regular season, but if they get to the postseason, King's healthy, Cease, Darvish, Pivetta.
Timeout.
Whoa,
Let's have
what?
a timeout because you're trailing 4-0 every game. You know, like you can't get 4 innings out of someone but be down 4-0. That happened on 4 consecutive games.
But also the past weekend against the Dodgers, they pitched incredible from their starting pitching.
Fair, but this is also the home road conversation where they've been better at home.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes back to the seeding. I watched Nestor Cortez let 3 home runs in again, he's not going to be pitching.
And I watched Nestor Cortez carve up the Dodgers.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
That's a great. Those are good counterpoints, and absolutely, we'd all feel much better if we knew that Dylan Cease's problem. If we could, people obviously rightly so. Why do I keep talking like Mike Schultz? But the 5th inning is a big trouble spot for him. Well, I can point to plenty of starts where the first and the second have been a problem too. So you're right, John. Like there's no guarantee there. But I just as I was really getting worked up about the starting pitching, I thought to myself, calm down now. Like the playoffs, a different animal.
Here's what I'm worked up about, real quick, guys. Here's what I'm worked up about. It's the Jim stat of the century. He mentioned Wednesday.
What I do?
They can't beat good teams on the road. So like now I'm talking to myself in circles. I'm almost taking the seeding as more important than Xander is overcomable. We've seen them have injuries before, but they're 1-9 in series against good playoff teams on the road. How are you going to go win a World Series as a non-home field advantage or playing series on the road? Like that just to me seems like such a ridiculous obstacle. Sure, lightning in a bottle, things happen. It's sports, balls go through legs, but how realistic is it if they're not good against good teams on the road to go out and do that when it matters?
Well, but unless you're going to say they're going to go undefeated at home, then they got to win on the road anyway, at least, once.
Right.
So, but except for obviously the wild card, it's going to have to get past that if they can't overcome this 2/3 or what would it be like 2.5? We all keep saying it's 3. It's basically like the Dodgers have a 2.1 game lead, right? It really doesn't matter, right? Like with the tiebreaker, like we keep saying they're actually 3 games behind. I mean, what do we call it? 2, 2.5, 3? What do we say?
I mean, I think it's 3 because if
you have to outplay them by at least 3 games.
More than 2.
More than 2. Yeah.
More than 2. That's what I'm saying. More than 2. Anyway, sorry.
All right,
More than
here's
2.
the deal.
I'm all over the place.
We
today.
have been all over the place. What day is it? Friday?
Thankfully.
And now we're not doing it Monday because it's Labor Day.
Correct. Yeah. Breaking news, Kevin.
So, which means we're not talking to you, Kevin, until Wednesday. That's like your longest break possible.
Probably after Michael King's start. Yeah.
Perfect.
After Michael, the world will change.
And hopefully
now
Merrill's
and
back
Wednesday.
too.
Yeah, in Padres world.
And then we can talk more about the lineup. Yay.
Kevin, enjoy the weekend in Minneapolis. Thanks for doing it, as always.
All right. See you later.
All right, Kevin Ace, your Padres Insider, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. We'll hear from Mike Schilt. I want to react. I mean, there's something I took exception with in there.
What?
Do you know what it is? I'll tell you on the other side.
Okay.
I'll tell you on the other side. I would tell Kevin. I think you could probably tell from my face if you're watching us on the stream. Stay with us. It's John and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and we've been telling you about their brand new hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort. It is now open. It's the next level of luxury. It's arrived. Treat yourself to a stunning new stay. They've got rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
And now open is a Jamul 23 with endless dining. Every day you can savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at the all-new Jamul 23. From their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to their VIP endless dining experience each evening, indulge in chef-curated specialties like seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
Sports fans, catch all the action at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub It's the ultimate sports showdown. They've got great food. You can catch the Padres live. It's a Tony Gwynn Sports Pub where fandom meets fantastic at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, we all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, who just made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher. Powered by Donors Choose, nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day, I love this name, Alaska English, who teaches at Clay Elementary, and people told us, not only did she help my daughter, but she helped me greatly as well. There needs to be more teachers like Mrs. English. Congrats, Alaska. You're in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Is that not a great name, Alaska English?
She's an English teacher, right?
She's an elementary school teacher.
But okay.
In elementary school, there's not really subjects. Did you
Yeah,
go to
teach everything?
I know.
You do the social studies.
You get my point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's a Spanish teacher.
No, I don't think so either.
Be.
Hi, I'm Miss English. I'm your Spanish teacher.
I mean, your name could be John Basketball and you could be good at football. It'd be weird. I feel like you'd be pointed in the basketball track.
Basketball throws for a touchdown.
That'd be so weird.
It'd be like the old boxing thing. It's Kid Cincinnati from Cleveland.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to hear from Mike Schild?
Oh, of course I do.
All right. So he has spoken with the media. By the way, Corey Provis, the radio voice of the Twins, will join us in 10 minutes. So let's hear from Mike Schild. This was just a few moments ago with the media. It starts with an update on Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, I mean, not great news. We were a little leery. He's a tough guy. So when he had to come out of game, kind of knew it was, pretty serious and could always be worse, could always be better. But, I'm sure he talked to you about it. I know you've got the press release. I won't get into the medical terms of it, but effectively it looks like a, fracture that's going to require him being in a boot for a week and then evaluation from there. But at the moment, medical, including bogey, most importantly, doesn't feel like this is going to be season ending. It's just going to be some period of time, and don't like to put any timetable on it. But anyway, clearly he's going to be out. He's on the IL, and Mason McCoy's up with the club now.
So you got Jose starting tonight. I think we're in the lineup short.
He is.
Yeah. With Xander, the psychology for you guys, because he's found his swing a bit, certainly, and what he provides for you all the way around, and he's had a couple injuries over the last few years. Not really anything that he seems to be doing wrong. I mean, just bad luck is what it seems like. What's that like on a player psychologically?
It's hard to say. I mean, everybody probably handles things differently. Bogey's a veteran guy. He's got, 11 plus years in the league, and but clearly frustrating. To your point, I mean, Bogey was playing. He got off to a slower start. So sometimes you get off a slower start, people have this assumption like, hey, this guy's not having a good year. This guy's having a good year, man. I don't know what the date would have been like, but I mentioned him swinging the bat. He's swinging the bat really well, and he was playing really, really good shortstop. They're doing a lot of things on the bases, 20 for 22 stolen bases, catalyst on the club. And, as far as what it does to him psychologically, he's in today he felt better than he did yesterday, so that helps him. And, he knows he's going to be back with us and just stay ready to go.
Jackson Merrill, can we get an update on him and where he stands?
Yes, Jackson went back to Arizona, took batting practice yesterday, threw a little bit. Feels like, he's in a good spot to progress to what he did today. Today was live batting practice. I actually faced Brian Hoeing, and both reports that both looked great. Played catch, and tomorrow he's going to get some more live at bats. So he's heading a good direction. Was able to do a little bit more running today, a little more aggressive running, and just like always how he recovers, but he's heading in a better spot.
Eligible to come off on Saturday, tomorrow, I believe, is
correct.
What's your feel on the timeline for him?
It will not be Saturday. So he's going to be in Arizona on Saturday, more than likely Sunday, and we'll evaluate from there.
And Michael King, where's he with you right now? How does he feel?
Michael threw a 4-inning simulated game today in Fort Wayne and threw right at 60 pitches. And by all accounts, threw the ball really well. And if he recovers well, then it bodes well for him to be able to come join us. But he's got to recover well. But everything today was very positive for Michael.
Presumptive of me, perhaps, but no sooner than the Orioles series at home?
Well, he threw today 4 innings, so you can start to put it together. You say no sooner?
Yeah, is Baltimore?
Is Baltimore in the mix?
Yeah, in the mix at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're starting a 3-game series, 3 games against Baltimore, so I wouldn't rule out, towards the end of that series if possible. Just depends on how he recovers.
You got a starter for Sunday?
No.
Okay, real quick, because we have Corey Provis, but what I was going to say, the thing I took exception to with Kevin in our conversation was that he said that Jose Iglesias has been their most clutch hitter. I looked up the numbers.
By what statistic has he been their most clutch hitter?
That's the thing. He hasn't been that clutch. He's hit 264 with runners in scoring position with a 609 OPS.
Okay, well, it's better than Xander.
I was going to say, has anyone who's been the clutch? But then it got me down the path of who's been clutch for the Padres this year.
Ramon Laureano.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks.
Games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you make of Schultz? He was saying what I was saying. Bogarts is having this terrific year.
No, he's not.
I think he said very good year.
Stop with the turd, the like polishing of the pig here, or whatever you want to call it.
Polishing of the pig?
I don't even know. Like washing a pig, it's still a pig. If a pig's covered in crap and you wash the pig, it's still a pig.
Help me.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
What's wrong with a pig?
Nothing's wrong with a pig. Lipstick on a pig. Stop trying to put lipstick on a pig is what I'm trying to say.
No, I mean, it's somewhere in the middle, right?
If Mike Schilt thinks that 262, 10 homers, 49 RBIs, and a 717 OPS is a really good season, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, Corey Provis is the radio voice of the Twins. Twins and Padres coming up tonight. Let's get the Twins perspective on the other side. As again, this is coming up in just, by the way, is this the right, do I have this right? Or did I, hold on. He's good. Yeah, 6:30 Central. Yeah, he's going to join us. I'm thinking to myself, wait, is Corey Provis really joining us 45 minutes before the game?
I guess so.
The answer is yes. The radio voice of the Twins will join us on the other side for about 10 minutes. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Xander Bogaerts is going on the IL with a broken left foot. There's no timetable on his recovery. He's hoping to return before the end of the season to start a postseason run. Padres start a 3-game series in Minnesota tonight against the Twins. 5:10 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the mound for the Padres. Last night, San Diego State, they shut out Stony Brook in their home opener 42-0. They next will take on Washington State on the road next Saturday at 7:15. You can listen to that match right here on San Diego Sports 760. And SDFC takes on LAFC this Sunday night, 7:45 kickoff, 7:15 pregame right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples has school supplies as low as 25 cents. Your back-to-school budget saved by the easy button. The easy button. What'd you think I was going to say? Love me some Staples. That was easy.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We're going to connect momentarily, we believe, with Corey Provis, who will be on the call tonight for Twins Padres. I'm looking at Brent. Is he not picking up? Oh, he's calling you right now. Oh. Maybe. Potentially. Yeah, he's calling.
Okay.
So we'll talk. I mean, think about the Twins at the deadline. 7 trades. You thought AJ Preller was active? Right? Yeah. I mean, they made more trades than the Padres did, which is incredible. So let's catch up for a handful of minutes because I know the Twins and Padres are getting underway in about 40 minutes. Great to connect with Corey Provis in Minnesota, Twins broadcaster. Padres Twins coming up tonight in about 45 minutes. So Corey, we appreciate you taking time for us here in San Diego. We were just saying kind of off the cuff, like we thought locally AJ Preller made a lot of moves. How has the reaction from Twins fans been to what transpired in Minneapolis just a couple of weeks ago? I mean, this roster has had wholesale changes. What's the reaction and how has it played out over the last few weeks?
I mean, the reaction was stunning, and I think a lot of head scratching and why, and some of it we saw coming, but then to the extent that it did, nobody saw it that high. I didn't see 40% of the roster getting traded on deadline day, and that's what it turned out to be. I mean, they traded their top 5 bullpen guys. Some of those guys were on expiring deals, but many of them were under team control for years to come. So it was surprising. I mean, I think there was going to be some action, but to the level that it was, nobody saw that coming. And fans are pretty upset. And you know, this is a football market. This is a Vikings town. That surprised me when I moved here before the 2012 season. But you know, now with how the team is playing, and you know, despite the weather being gorgeous and this being the most beautiful time of year here, when you get to August into September, if the team is relevant, if the team is good, the fans are going to come out. But I think we'll have decent crowds this weekend with a good San Diego team in town. But then beyond that, yeah, it's going to be pretty quiet here all of September.
You know, while the Twins' chances of making the postseason's basically zero here, I mean, they've been a pretty good home team, 33-31 at home. It's the road issues for the Twins right now, but at home, they've been a pretty good team. What's it been about their play at home to put them at where they are right now, 33-31 at home?
You know, it's hard to look at those numbers anymore because the team is so different.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at like, okay, well, this is how they're doing here and this is how they're doing there. I mean, the issue for the Twins is going to be the unknown. It happened on Wednesday in Toronto. If they're in a tight game and it's the 7th inning, 6th, 7th, 8th inning, they don't have the same guys. They don't have, again, their top 5 bullpen guys are now performing elsewhere. And so a little bit is up in the air, and it's not the same guys all the time. The 2 high leverage arms that they like are Cole Sands and Justin Topa, throwing better here this month, and lefty Cody Funderburk is throwing the ball well here lately. But it's just, you can't have those guys every single night. And if those guys are needed tonight, and if they're needed in multiple innings tonight, then that shuts them down for tomorrow, if not for Sunday. And then it's like, well, who are they going to now? And that's what's been happening here. They've also been knocked out of games early where the Twins have had some lopsided, you know, game score. I'm talking about 2nd, 3rd inning. They're down by 5 or 6 runs. And the competitive aspect has mostly been decided. That's also popped up here a lot. So again, it's hard to, you know, look at those home numbers and even road numbers because just the team in terms of personnel is nowhere near what it was, you know, even a month ago.
Corey Provis with us right now. He calls games for the Twins. So it's one thing to make moves like this. What's like the vision? I mean, how can you make moves like this and be competitive? Forget 2026. I mean, you got to be thinking 2026, 2027. Like they get salary relief, obviously, with the Correa deal. But I mean, what's the vision? What's the sale here moving forward?
Well, remember that this division, you don't need to win 95 games to win this division. And especially if the Tigers don't keep Tarek Skubal, and he's a free agent at the end of next season. So he's going into a free agent year in Skubal. If Skubal departs, if he wants, money that no pitcher's ever seen, and he makes a strong case for it, but the Tigers are like, we can't do it, then that changes everything. I mean, the Tigers are the team to beat. They're an awesome team. They're going to win this division. That's not a secret. But if Skubal leaves, or if Skubal gets injured, which I don't want, nobody wants, you want the Stars to play, you don't have to win 98 games. It may be 90 games. It may be 88 wins, to win this division. And I think that is something to keep in mind about what this team looks like. They have a good farm system. Baseball America, all these magazines, they like what the Twins have received for the most part. But will these guys be able to take their accolades and all their honors that they're garnering in the minor leagues? And will that translate into productive everyday players at the big leagues? The jury is still out on many first-round picks, and the Twins are going to throw a lot of first-round picks at the Padres here this weekend. Some are established. Some are trying to find their footing. In terms of what the vision is, you see some of it. I mean, Joe Ryan is under team control for a couple of more years. Pablo Lopez, he's going to be back here in the next week or so, barring one more, setback with his third rehab start. So there's a foundation there. You have Pablo, you have Joe Ryan, and then you have Royce, and you have, Byron Buxton, and you have, Brooks Lee, and the emerging Luke Keyshaw, the rookie sensation at second. There are pieces here. There's no doubt there is some talent, but the division that they play in certainly helps.
What can you tell us about the starter of tonight for the Twins and Zebby Matthews?
Zebby's his middle name. His first name is Daniel. So Daniel Zebulon Matthews is his name. He's a strike thrower. The Twins are really bullish on him, and they were last year. He was a rookie last year, and I think he actually pitched in San Diego last year. But his ceiling is very high. He's big. He's strong. He throws hard. He misses bats. He's striking out about 11 batters per 9. That's all good and well. His bugaboo has been 2 outs. Getting off the field has been a big problem. The bulk of his runs, the bulk of the damage that has come against Zebby has been with 2 outs. So it's not uncommon for a young pitcher in a second go around to the big leagues to have some bumps, but that's going to be his biggest challenge tonight is getting off the field, avoiding that big 2-out, 2-run double, that big 2-out, 3-run homer, because that's where Zebby's problems have come for the most part this season with 2 outs.
Corey, final one for me before you go as you get ready for tonight. What's been your impression of the Padres? I mean, obviously, Xander Bogaerts today they announced goes on the IL. That's a tough break, no pun intended. But Padres, once again, under Mike Schilt, positioning themselves here in the second half of the year. What do you make of the successes that they're experiencing?
I had no idea until I started reading about the Padres, really going back to the last weekend, that the home run number is as low as it is.
Yeah.
With the lineup and the names, that was like I did a double take. I'm like, they rank where in home runs? It just didn't add up. But it's a lot of contact, despite some chase. But it's a good lineup. It's a lineup that's scrappy. The amount of infield hits that I've seen, that was surprising. But then the bullpen. I mean, how good this bullpen is, and even more so, what AJ Preller did at the deadline was just enhance this lineup. It seemed like pre-deadline, hitters 7, 8, and 9, there wasn't much there. But then you add Laureano and O'Hearn and Fermin, and how it's lengthened the lineup, and the difference is there with the numbers that the team is putting up in August. But man, you have the lead after 5 innings, and you bump Jason Adam from an 8th inning guy to a 5th, 6th inning guy. What a gift and what a luxury to have. So bullpen is legit. Lots to like there. And I'm pumped to see Luis Arias. He's going to get a big hand. There's going to be a cool video tribute for him before the game. This is his first time back here coming as a visiting player. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I think also they're planning a fun little video for Nick Punto, part of the Padres coaching staff and just a beloved Twin. around here all those great years playing for Gardy. So, but yeah, San Diego, good team. And this is such a fun matchup. I miss going to San Diego every year because the ballpark is so fun, but looking forward to heading back there for 2026.
Well, for Padres fans, they're hoping Luis Ariz looks like Luis Ariz looked in Minnesota because he has struggled here with the Padres in 2025 offensively. Corey, we appreciate you taking time for us. We're looking forward to the weekend series. Be well, and thanks for doing it in San Diego.
All right, guys, be well.
All right, great stuff from Corey Provis with that Twins perspective.
Did you hear that?
What was that? Yeah, what is that? That's the phone, right?
Interesting.
That happened when we...
If I don't turn them down right away and they hang up before I turn them down, that's a noise it makes.
That's a good feature.
I like that
You're
feature.
not getting that everywhere.
No.
You're not getting that everywhere.
No.
Okay? You're getting that here.
Sure, it'll be fixed soon.
Now we're going to hear.
But there's nothing to fix with it. It just does that.
It just is what it is.
What it is.
There's no fix.
Perfect.
That is the fix.
See, I know that Kevin always hangs up right away. So
Right.
most of the time I'll pot him down because I know he hangs up before you can say
Gotcha.
goodbye. We haven't had Corey on enough that
Yeah, he's only been
I
a
know
couple
if he's
times.
gonna bye, thanks Corey, or if he's just gonna hang up right away. And he hung up right away.
So do we have audio from Xander Bogart speaking with Kevin or the media?
There is audio of Xander. We can
Okay.
hear that later in the show today.
Do you want to do that on the other side?
I think we could do that on the other side. Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear from Xander Bogaerts, the man that just went on the IL with a broken foot.
Right. Okay. We'll hear from Xander. And we've got a lot to get to. If you missed our conversations earlier today, we had Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network. We had J.R. Tolver. We haven't even really discussed San Diego State's win last night at the extent we were planning to because of the Xander Bogaerts injury. So we'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll hear from Xander on the other side. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Again, the Padres and Twins coming up just after 5 p.m. tonight. We're going to talk about the Aztecs yesterday in the 5 o'clock hour. You'll hear from Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, in the 5 o'clock hour as well. All right, Xander Bogaerts spoke with the media. So he's on the IL. He's on the 10-day IL.
Wait, what?
He's got the foot fracture. He's hopeful that it's not going to be forever, but we're going to hear in his own words. We'll hear what he sounds like. Where does this start, Brent, with Xander? It starts with a question. That makes sense, and then it answers. So let's listen in the media with Xander Bogaerts this afternoon.
When you fouled it off your foot, is there an indication to you right away this could be more than just a little bruise?
I think so. I mean, I've done a lot of foul balls, but I think this one kind of hit me in a spot where I've probably never been hit before also. So, I mean, I wasn't sure how it would have been, but it definitely hurt, I can tell you that. But I don't think I had a foul ball off of that spot before.
You said non-displaced fracture. Tell us about what that means in your terms as far as timeline, how you're going to treat it.
A couple weeks and, looking to be back. Hopefully, like, right before the regular season ends. I mean, that's probably what I'm trying to hope for. I mean, last year I had the shoulder and came back a little earlier. Blessed with some nice bones, so hopefully I can help with this time also.
I would imagine a certain level of frustration given the time of the year and the fact that you're swinging it well and you found a nice rhythm at the plate. I know you worked hard on that. Can you speak to where you are mentally when you get an injury like this at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're not expecting it, even like doing an MRI and a CT scan and stuff like that, you're not really anticipating any of that. But I mean, once the news comes, it's like, I think last year was probably the worst one. I mean, I've never had to be out for a long time. And I remember when they told me the amount of time I was out last year, I mean, I cried a little bit. I mean, I've never been out that much, So this one, just being able to understand that probably will be back a little bit, hopefully before the regular season ends. I mean, it makes it a little bit better instead of being like, hey, you broke the whole thing and you're out for the whole season. That probably would have been a different type of reaction.
He does sound to be in decent spirits.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's too upset.
No, he sounded very matter of fact and frank and hopeful for late in the regular season.
Couple weeks.
Hopeful. Yeah, I mean, it didn't sound like anyone told him yo, you better hope and pray to get back at any point in the postseason. That's not what it sounded like to me. It sounded like, you know what? With the right break, no pun intended again, maybe you're back with a few days to go in the regular season.
But also hoping for a bone to heal fast. You do have to rely on hope here and continued rehab and the right things and all of that.
Right.
But even then, it still could take longer than expected.
Yeah.
So I think best case scenario is before the postseason. Anytime before the postseason
is best case. Yeah, anytime. I agree with that.
Yeah. If he happens to, it goes into the postseason, that could be a problem because right as the season ends, the wild card round starts, a couple days after the season? October.
There's one off day. I think it's September 30th.
The postseason starts on September 30th?
Yeah, because the season ends September 28th.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not going to have any time to heal up. So, we've been talking a lot about the division and the wild card. Man, if they get that division.
Well, then you have the extra week.
And if they get that 2 seed.
Good point.
Oof,
I haven't even touched on that. It's a good point.
That would do wonders for your team, for Xander's health, for everybody's health. Yeah, now, it would be a little tricky because I think to get the 2 seed and to take the division, they will need to play some damn good baseball.
Probably.
Unless the Dodgers or the Phillies, they fall down and then you get the division and then you also, because of that, get the 2 seed.
Yeah, you're probably right. What I would say is looking at the schedule, I think the best case if you're Xander is the final homestand. It starts September 22nd, which is Milwaukee, actually 3 weeks and 3 days away. So my camera. It's 3 weeks and 3 days away. That to me is if you're saying I'm hopeful to get back at the end of the regular season, I would think Milwaukee, but maybe it's the Diamondbacks and they're the final series of the year. That's September 26th. That's 4 weeks from today. That series starts 4 weeks from today against Arizona at home.
Okay, 4 weeks. Yeah, I mean, by the sound of it, it feels realistic just because he sounds pretty optimistic. Like, a couple weeks is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's just maybe the player wishing and hoping that it's just a couple weeks. And saying, you know what, I'll go back out there even if I have to play through some pain.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I mean, I feel like it's a better conversation about like there's two conversations: their health when Xander comes back, and then this whole like division 2 seed conversation. Like I feel like I'll have a better feel for the possibility on the division or a 2 seed at the end of this weekend, even. Like if it goes one way and you play great and you win 3 games, wow. I mean, we're definitely talking division. If it goes the other way this weekend and you lose 2 out of 3 and you fall further back in the division, it's like almost at some point the writing's going to be on the wall one way or the other.
Yeah, if they have a bad weekend in Minnesota and the Dodgers on the flip side have a good weekend against the Diamondbacks,
you're right.
And you're 4 back on September 1st, but it's really 5 back. That's tough, man.
But Corey Provis, who we just had on, like I just looked up, the Twins have been utterly awful.
Okay, then take advantage.
Okay, I mean, they're 3-11 in their last 14.
So they got to take advantage.
You know what I mean? They're playing terrible baseball.
And from that standpoint, I do agree with Kevin. Like they're playing the Twins, they're playing the Rockies, they're playing the White Sox.
Look at the red.
Yeah, there's a lot of red.
I mean, they're not beating anyone.
So go out, take advantage of the opponent, and you should be able to beat up on some teams here, even with Xander out of the lineup. If Xander's out of the lineup and he's not with you for a postseason run, yeah, that's a problem because you don't want to see Jose Iglesias out there. Sorry. But if you're going to say pick a time to have Xander miss, it's either now or the postseason, pick now because right now you're playing competition that you're better than even with Xander on the IL. And by better, I mean they're better by a lot.
It seems like it's a pretty fortunate, again, the no pun intended break. Their schedule, right? Because there's other teams in baseball where you, like, let's say over the next 4 weeks, you were playing the Dodgers 6 times and the Phillies 3 times and the Mets 3 times and the Brewers 3 times. And they have a couple of those teams. It would be a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
But they have the softened schedule. Yes, they have the Mets. Yes, they have the Brewers. So there's some real series in there. But by and large, these final 28 games gives them opportunities. And even without Xander Bogaerts. I mean, I can't be convinced that Xander is so impactful that he's going to impact your ability to beat the Twins. Like you just got to beat the Twins regardless. I mean, it's sounds awful with the Twins and talking with their broadcaster right there.
Oh my gosh.
Fan base turning, Vikings starting, nobody attending games, 7 trades at the deadline to get rid of major league players, not to acquire. Imagine that, the opposite of Preller, 7 trades of players going out. That's insane.
All right, so right now, in a little bit, starts the run of games against bad or teams that are not in the postseason, like the Reds. I mean, Reds are not a bad team, but they're not in the postseason picture right now. So you got 16 games here.
Okay.
Against Minnesota for 3, Baltimore for 3, Colorado for 7, and then the Reds for 3. That's
so
16.
give me the record.
That's 16, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you sign up for 11-5 right now?
Yeah, I think you kind of have to. Knowing that they've played better than that this year a couple of times.
And I'm saying 11-5 because that would, like, just hypothetical. They win every one of these series. So they take either 2 or 3 or 3 or 4.
Yep.
And that would equal 11-5.
I mean, I think you have to. There's no guarantee that you have overtaken the division at that point because the Dodgers have the soft schedule coming up. Let's say they went 10-6 in those 16 games. You'd still be actually on the outside looking in.
Here's the point is if you go 11-5 and the Dodgers go 12-4,
you lose ground.
Yeah, you lose ground there. And now you're 3 back with 2 weeks to play.
12 games, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And you don't hold the tiebreaker.
Well, you're proving my point. I'm like, they need another 14-3 stretch.
Yeah, they need to sweep some of these teams.
Yeah, they do. They're going to need a 13-3.
11-5, it's a great stretch.
But it might not be enough.
You're going to need to hope the Dodgers don't play that good over the next 16 games. Like, the Dodgers go 11-5 along with you going 11-5. You're still 2 back, really 3 back with 12 to play.
That's exactly right.
So you're going to need to gain some ground here over the next 16 games by sweeping probably 1 or 2 of these series here.
I agree. On the other side, we're getting you ready for a series to begin in Minneapolis. Game one will get underway in about 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll get you ready on the other side. We'll react to San Diego State's shutout win over Stony Brook last night at Snapdragon Stadium. We'll hear from Cynthia Freeland coming up at 5:30. We have Jim's back page as well. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. We're not going to replay JR.
This update is brought to you by SDG&E. Xander Bogaerts is going on the IL with a left foot fracture. Padres started a 3-game series in Minnesota. 5:10 first pitch. Nestor Cortez on the mound for the Padres. Padres trail the Dodgers in the National League West by 2 games. Last night, San Diego State opened up their season at home with a 42-0 victory win over Stony Brook. A victory win. A victory win. I have no idea. I had a victory win. I'm such an idiot. I can't even finish this update. In peak wildfire season and whatever. I know I can't.
Hold on, let me read it. Turn it to me.
A victory win.
Turn it to me.
I can't do this.
Turn the update to me. In peak wildfire season, as a last resort, SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS.
It's a touchdown point.
It's John and Jim to warm up that drive home.
Xander Bogaerts to the IL. One of the keys, the unpredictable. You can do whatever you want at the deadline. You can spend as much money as you want. You can have the best roster in the world. It always comes down to health.
It's a big blow. It's not like Xander was lighting the world on fire recently. But still, when you look at the depth of this team at that position in particular, now where are you going to go?
Now, live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, it's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour, thankfully, for the week of John and Jim.
I said
Life
that.
with Jim, man. He said the Aztecs beat Stony Brook 42-0 for a victory win. And that's when we were like, all right, we'll see you Monday.
We're done.
Which is actually
Those are always
Tuesday.
better than defeat losses. So.
Yeah, defeat losses. It's actually, we're obviously not here on Labor Day, but we will be.
Well,
back.
what got me is I said it and I knew I'm like, victory win's stupid, but whatever, just keep going. And all of a sudden I hear you at a corner of my ear go, oh, victory win.
Victory win.
You're like, oh, wow.
Victory win. That's why he's cracking. I'm like, victory win. You couldn't hear it on mic.
It was so stupid.
It really was, but it's okay. It's okay.
Oh.
All right, we're
Good victory win
preparing
last night.
for. We'll see if the Padres can get a victory win tonight.
Hopefully they get multiple victory wins
I'm
this
sorry.
weekend.
I look at this Twins like just schedule results since the trade deadline, and I'm sorry. I'm beginning to go from gotta win a series, and I don't want to go there right now. I don't want to go where I'm going to go.
Good victory sweep.
You almost need to do a victory sweep win. I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, they just won a game at Toronto, for example. They were they won. They lost 2 out of 3 at the White Sox. This team's been awful. They were swept at home by the A's. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Tigers at home. They lost 2 out of 3. They haven't won a series in forever. I mean, they're losing series left and right. So I hate to jinx it, but you gotta play really well this weekend. Forget about the opponent. Play to your standard. Sounds like a football thing, but just play well this weekend. Put pressure on the Dodgers, etc.
Yeah. I look at the next 16 games. The more I think about it, I don't know if 11-5 in the next 16 games is going to be enough to retake the lead in the National League West. It could. Absolutely could. Dodgers have won 4 in a row. They are getting a lot of their players back. Max Muncy's return, or he's going to return here soon.
Right.
Tanner Scott's return. Kirby Yates has returned. You know, their offense is still pretty potent. I don't know if 11-5 over their next 16 is going to get them back into the lead in the National League West. Now, if the Dodgers go 11-5 too, it's still 2 games, but now it's 12 games remaining. You're 2 back, really 3 back. You got to outplay the Dodgers by 3 games in the final 12 to overtake them and win the National League West. It's just a tough path if that's what's going to happen. Now, if the Padres play out of their mind and over the next 16 games, over this stretch against bad teams, they go 13-3,
which they've done twice this year.
I feel pretty good. I feel very good, actually.
And you make a good point. I just think it takes something like 11-5 to get you in the conversation for the final 2 weeks of the year. Like if you do go 11-5, you're right. Maybe that doesn't put you in first place, But if you're 1 out with 12 to play, if you're even with 12 to play, I know they don't have
Game
the
on.
At least you're putting some real pressure on. Kevin Acey joined us earlier, our Padres insiders. Like, are they really 3 back or is it 2.1? They're 3 back.
You can't
the
be 2.1 back.
The season's not going to end with the teams not playing the same number of games. There's no world where the Padres play 161 and the Dodgers play 162. They'll be even in terms of games played. Therefore, they're 3 out.
And it's as simple as this. If they finish with the same record, Dodgers win the National League West. So, you got to outplay them and beat them by a game. So if they get 93 wins, you got to get 94. If they get 95, you got to get 96.
It's the unfortunate part of not playing well against them.
Yep.
I mean, you had your chances and you didn't take advantage of it. And you're right. I mean, that's kind of a cruel way to potentially end a regular season if it does play out like that.
Yeah.
You play well. You have the same number of wins as the
95.
LA Dodgers. You have the same number, but it's not enough because you didn't play them well enough. And the consequences are severe, from maybe a bye to, it could be anything theoretically from a 2 seed on the line, but the tie-breaking team that loses out in the tiebreaker, which is the Padres in this example, could slip all the way to a 5 seed, depending on what happens with the Cubs and elsewhere around the National League.
Don't sleep on the Mets either.
They're rolling. They're up tonight 7 runs, I think.
Yep.
They were up 7-0 earlier.
Their offense has definitely heated up.
They
here.
called up this massive pitching prospect.
Mm-hmm. They're up 10-0 in the bottom of the second.
It might be his debut.
Is it his debut?
Is it Tang? Look in the box score real quick. Who's pitching for the Mets?
It's his debut.
Yeah. So they got something going for them.
Johan
Tang, right?
Tang or Tong?
Or it might be Tong.
Tong.
But massive prospect.
22-year-old kid.
Yep. Called up for the stretch run.
Yep. And it's not just watching what the Dodgers are doing. It's watching what the Cubs are doing, watching what the Mets are doing.
Phillies.
Watch what the Phillies are doing. Because right now the Phillies and the Dodgers, they are tied for the 2 seed.
Right.
77 and 57. You're 1 game back of the Cubs. You're 3 up on the Mets, who are going to win tonight. So you have to win tonight against the Twins. And if you don't, you're only 2 up on the Mets. This is classic scoreboard watching around all of baseball. All those teams, you have to know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree with that. We were having they just did this whole video montage for Luis Ariz, right? Spent 4 years in Minnesota, had a couple of years he hit 330 for the Twins. So a very popular player, obviously, in Minnesota. We were going to start the conversation today by talking about what should the Padres do in that 2-hole. Because they haven't gotten near the production that they need out of that spot. But then you saw this today on social media. Not only have they not gotten the production they need out of the 2-hole, but they've hit as many home runs out of the 2-hole as Kyle Schwarber hit last night. The Phillies, the 2-hole.
4?
The Padres have hit 5 in the last 5 months, or 4 in the last 5 months, and Schwarber hit 4 in 4 at bats.
And Schwarber's in the 2 spot?
I think he was last night. What's he up to now? 50?
I think he's at 49.
49. Okay. Yeah. Again, it's there's multiple. We had this conversation, but there's multiple ways to win. The Padres are winning their way. Corey Provis just told us, are you serious? The Padres are 29th in baseball in home runs.
And that's with the Padres hitting 4 home runs in Seattle in a game, and then 4 home runs the previous week in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So they've hit some home runs here of late, and they're still 29th in baseball.
Well, that's where I'd be that's encouraging though, right? It's if you're hitting home runs now, I don't care if you finish 27th in baseball, if you've been 11th in baseball for the final 6 weeks. So maybe they are actually slugging to a better extent. I think they are. When you have O'Hearn and Sheets in your lineup, I do think their slugging has been better. But now again, they're going to go at it without Xander Bogaerts. And you made a good point. Again, I don't like to. It's tough because the guy goes on the IL with a significant injury. But the truth is, he's been an average player this year across the sport, and it can be overcome. You're going to need him in the postseason. He's got the experience. He's been an average player. He's out.
He's been really good since the middle of June, but that doesn't take away from the first 2.5 months of the season either.
Yeah, that's right.
If every baseball player just decided that they were going to take their best stretches in the year and just put that on the back of their baseball card, okay, that just completely erases all the bad and all the stuff they did that was previously to their season. But now you look at Xander's total year and you're like, it's okay.
Who's the magic bullet? Trenton Brooks. His back would be, I homered at Dodger Stadium.
Right.
I hit a home run.
I hit 1,000 this year
Dodgers
with a home run against the Dodgers.
That was my hot stretch. But you're right. I mean, Xander's had some hot stretches. He's had some really bad stretches. In fact, his last 2 weeks haven't been good. He's cooled off significantly. He's hitting under 200 in his last 15 games.
His OPS in his last 30 games is sub 700.
Right. So he has really cool.
So it's like, oh, he's been great since June 19th or whatever the date is. And his OPS is like 833. Okay. Well, let's look at another sample size, which is the last month. Last month, he's been very average.
All right. We'll keep you updated on Padres and Twins. They are underway in Minneapolis. On the other side, let's get into last night. Full reaction from me and Jim on the Aztecs beating Stony Brook in shutout fashion, 42-0. Some people were so impressed they're calling it a victory win. So we'll react to the San Diego State victory yesterday against Stony Brook. We'll hear from Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network at 5:30. Stay with us on John and Jim. All right, Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network coming up at 5:30. Obviously, reacting to the massive trade yesterday in the NFL, Micah Parsons to the Packers. We spent a lot of today on the Xander Bogaerts injury. We did catch up with J.R. Tolvar earlier, the Aztec for Life. San Diego State last night, we're both there in the building. Snapdragon Stadium, season number 2 for Sean Lewis underway. You wanted style points. What did I want style points for recently? Remember, you're like, we want
Padres.
Yeah, but what was it? I wanted style points. They were boring
the
me.
Giants, yeah.
They were like boring me. And then they gave me style points. They won by like 10.
Right.
But and they've been hitting home runs. So you asked for style points from San Diego State. Is 42-0 enough for you? Under 100 total yards of offense for Stony Brook. I know it's an FCS opponent, but that's who they played. Offensively, identical 200 plus yards, a touchdown, no picks. The run game over 200 yards. Lucky Sutton goes for over 100. They led 20-0 at the half. They scored 22 second half points. Was 42-0 enough for you to whet your appetite?
So they scored 20 points in the first half, 22 in the second.
How many?
No, they won 42-0.
Right.
So they scored 22 in the second half. I for some reason I thought 43.
Yeah, right.
It's 42. Yeah, I think they did enough to whet my appetite. Not because of the score of the game, but because of what the defense did to Stony Brook.
Okay.
I think that to me is what I take away from last night the most is, look, last year's team in their first game of the season against Idaho State put up 45.
Texas A&M Commerce, but yes.
Or sorry, Texas A&M. When did they play Idaho State?
The year before.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. But Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah, you're right.
Texas A&M Commerce.
Yeah.
They put up 45. Problem was the defense did give up some points. They gave up some yards.
Yeah, and it was 6-3 at the half, Commerce.
Exactly. So I think last night what the defense did, Stony Brook couldn't move the ball. Like they literally could not move the ball if they tried. They had 95 yards of total offense. How many sacks did the Aztecs have? Like 2.5 or 3?
Yeah, like 3, but you're right. They couldn't move the ball, and they had a very good run game coming in. I mean, coming off a year in which they could move the ball.
Yeah,
they scored 30 points per game last year.
Their running back, I think he did average 4 yards per carry last night. But still, I thought the defense just putting the clamps on them. Less than 100 yards total offense from Stony Brook. And, shutting them out, I think, was a really good first step for this defense because the defense should be ahead of where the offense is because the defense has the most returning players of it. The offense is essentially kind of all brand new.
But I agree with you, by the way. I'd start with the defense too. But what I liked about the offense was that like they were quick but under control. It appeared to me like they had kind of mastered Sean Lewis's offense more in game 1 this year than had been mastered, for example, a year ago against Texas A&M Commerce. Again, a lot of the scores actually last year came from the defensive side of the ball. You had a veteran, you saw 2 quarterbacks, Indenical and Bert Emanuel Jr., that both showed you a lot, I would say, last night. The run game was very impressive. Here's the thing. Last year in the opener, 16 penalties. Last night, 7.
But 2 of them were unsportsmanlike.
True. Now
which are easy to clean up.
Yeah, there's things to clean up, no doubt. But I'm just saying, like, last year they were second. They had the second most penalties in the nation.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you can live with 7 compared to 16, and hopefully they will clean it up. 450 plus total yards of offense is in. I'm with you. I lead with the defense. But Danigal, we were told he can make all the throws. He made some throws.
Yeah.
The Donovan Brown ball down the right sideline in the second half.
Yeah.
The touchdown throw over the middle. I was just watching it back on KUSI. He made a good throw prior to the touchdown strike on the first drive inside the red zone. So I thought Denigal did some good things. Now, he also maybe was fortunate. A couple of balls were dropped that could have been picked off.
There was one ball in particular that was thrown right in between the numbers of a Stony Brook defender that he just dropped.
Yeah. So there was that as well. No doubt about it. But again, with it being an opener, it was hard to ask for more. The question now, of course, is can you take the show on the road, so to speak?
100%.
That's just the question moving forward.
And another thing with the offense, I think, how could you not look at this offensive line and be like, wow, it's nice to have a good offensive line, or at least an offensive line that is capable instead of last year. I mean, how many times did that offensive line get called for false starts and holding penalties? Towards the end of that year, it was really bad.
Did they have one? There was a wide receiver false start. on, I think, Jordan Napier. Did they have one false start from their offensive line last night?
Can you?
Brent says yes. I thought a receiver.
I thought a receiver
went early, and that was in the first half. Maybe there was a second, but I remember the penalties to be like you said. There were 2 15-yarders.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hold or two on Bryce Phillips, the corner. There was definitely a receiver that went early. Maybe there was one other, but the point is, it was much crisper.
It's probably an easier way to look to try to find it.
Yeah, than the play-by-play.
Yeah, there's a false start here.
It doesn't say who it's against.
This is penalty, STSU false start, 5 yards. It does not say who it was from.
Right. There was one against the receiver, though. Again,
I liked the game last night. I thought that they looked like a team that could actually be pretty fun this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Jaden Denigal is a big upgrade at quarterback over Danny O'Neal. I like the fact that Sean Lewis kind of, spread the wealth around his running backs. Like he gave guys opportunities other than just one player, like last year with Marquez Cooper. This year, Lucky Sutton got the bulk of the carries, but he also, distributed to multiple different players in the backfield. I thought Jaden Denigal is a guy that you see he can just make all the throws. The one thing though is when he gets outside the pocket, he did this right after he got injured. He lowered his shoulder. He tried to truck some dude. Like,
you got to keep him on the field.
You got to stay healthy. Yeah, let's not do that.
We didn't even mention the fact that Denigal, maybe we did with JR. I mean, you're right. 4th play of the game, he goes out.
I was like, are you serious right now?
It was a design QB run, and it looked fine. I watched it back, and I was just like a jammed, non-throwing shoulder or what played out. He came in 4 or 5 plays later, left later in the second half, but then again, they were up 35-0 when he left later in the second half. What do you got, Brent?
Well, SDSU told me and Ben that there was he was having issues with his shoulder pad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And they got the extra day or two here because they play on a Thursday, not a Saturday. Right. But I'll tell you what, this game next Saturday, it's like if you do win it, again, it's an if you could go there and get that first marquee win for Sean Lewis, like that first real important win for your program under Sean, then I think you're working with something. Like you have a little bit of momentum, you have some energy, you have a bye week to then prepare your fan base for September 20th. It would be their next game against Cal at home, and they're honoring the 2015 Mountain West Championship San Diego State team. Now they got to go out and earn it, but based on what they did yesterday, they got to believe they're going to go up there thinking they can win that football game. Now they got to go do it, and we'll see if they can look as crisp. They're not going to win the game 42-0. That's not the plan at Washington State, but can they avenge last year's game? They had Washington State beat here.
Yeah.
Everything's changed. Washington State is a new head coach, 76 new players, I think. So can you go there and win? And if you can, I think you're working with some momentum, kind of just like that, a couple of weeks into your year.
It would make the Cal game that much more interesting.
Yeah, it would.
For sure. Because starting your season 2-0, Cal game at home, have a little momentum on your side. Maybe people will start saying, you know what? Maybe let's go check out this Aztec team. Like, let's go see what they're about. And then we'll see what happens at home against Cal. 3-0 would be a dream start for this team this year. But still, you got to get through Washington State 100%. To even talk about a potential 3-0 start.
Completely agree. I completely agree. I think it'll be a very good game. We'll see if they can find a way to win a game against a quality opponent on the road.
Now, they only showed part of it on the TV broadcast. How was the danger zone?
The video, if Jim was there for this, Jim was there until halftime, right?
Yeah, I left at half.
Jim would have lost his mind if he saw the video presentation of the danger zone.
I would have.
It looks like the video presentation of the danger zone, it looks like it was done by like Hollywood. I can't even describe it. There's like fighter jets flying through the air.
A lot of production value.
A lot of production value is what I would say. But you know me, I'm not a movie guy.
So there's probably a lot of stuff that you missed.
I missed a lot of things, but I feel like you and Jim would have gotten a lot out of it. And it's like, game one of them doing it. So my takeaway was, I feel like if you're a Top Gun person, you probably would have gotten a lot out of it.
I do like Top Gun. I'm not like enamored with it. Like, it's the greatest movie of all time. I thought Top Gun Maverick was really good.
Right.
Top Gun, the original, also really good. But yeah, I guess I have to see it in person to really feel it.
Yes, stick around for the Cal game.
Okay.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hear from Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network. On the other side, we have Jim's back page ahead. Updates from Target Field, where the Padres and Twins are underway and scoreless midway through the second inning. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Zero Res Carpet Surface and Upholstery Cleaners. Padres and Twins underway in Minnesota. It's scoreless in the bottom of the second inning. Earlier today, the Padres placed Xander Bogaerts on the 10-day IL with a left foot fracture. No timetable on his return. Last night, San Diego State picked up his first victory of the season with a 42-0 win over Stony Brook. Next up, they'll travel and play Washington State on the road next Saturday night, 7:15 kickoff time. And SDFC takes on LAFC Sunday night at 7:45. 7:15's when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Get 3 rooms of carpets cleaned for just $169 and get 20% off additional services at Zero Res Carpet, Surface, and Upholstery Cleaners. The sale ends Sunday, so visit zerosandiego.com for details and book today. That's zerosandiego.com.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Jim's back page ahead. Padres and Twins scoreless in the second inning from Target Field in Minneapolis. So we caught up with Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network to discuss one of the bigger modern day trades in the NFL.
The Kenny Clark trade was big.
Kenny Clark going to the Cowboys. What does it mean? Now, we started the conversation by just asking Cynthia, just as a fan of football, what was her reaction to the Micah Parsons deal?
Look, it's fun to do the grade the trade, like all the things that we do, when things like this happen. And I'm a little annoyed because, it's a long weekend and I had to redo all of my projections. So whatever, but that's selfish. No, it's fun to see and it's fun to figure out. It's also like hilarious to, all the people, the Packers are winning the Super Bowl and like just one fell swoop.
Yeah, right. It happened right before our show. And I honestly thought, Cynthia, it was a fake tweet because if you read the tweet and you'll know where I'm going with this, he spelled Micah Parsons' name Micah Packers, and I was like, wait, this has to be fake.
Right.
It was one of those things where you're like, okay, I gotta look at this 3 times over to make sure that it's real or not. So going to the on-field side of things, just how good does this make the Packers defense, and how much is Micah Parsons going to be a difference maker for this Packers team?
I think it's a huge deal. I mean, I know the way Jeff Hafley wants to operate that defense, and I know that they were trying to figure out, like, okay, are we going to get, like, who's going to step up, right? Like, they drafted in the second round a guy last year, like Edgerrin Cooper, and, they've been trying to figure out the pass rush, and it's been one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe this year. Okay, maybe this year. This just becomes okay, it is now this year, and maybe that will help Rashawn Gary return to the kind of form that we saw a couple years back. And, you have Jair Alexander there. I understand Ja didn't play every single game last season, but he's still a really good corner. And, you have to kind of figure that out without him. So I know there were a lot of turnovers last year, and I know Xavier McKinney has cool hair, but it's going to be hard. Their interceptions and turnovers like that are a little bit of a fickle stat. If there is some luck involved to actually get the turnover. So it's more, you're more likely to count on like increasing your pressure rate and realizing that will shut down teams from earning first downs. That's a smarter way to live than to live off of an interception. But they shored that up. So, I thought it was good before, and it's an excellent defense now.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, back with us right now on John and Jim. I want to get into what it means for the Cowboys, but I actually want to start by asking the question of what they got in return, the 2 first-round picks specifically. Is this what they should have received, or is this like what's the value that they should have received for Micah Parsons? Could they have done better than what they got?
I don't actually think that they could have. I mean, okay. I think the one thing that gets a little lost in the sauce here is Kenny Clark's a really good player. Right. This is a team that defense could not stop the run to save their freaking life last year. And Kenny Clark can help do that. It does change some of the equation. And now, do I know if these 2 picks that they're going to get in the future turn into good players? No, of course not. You're gambling on potential in the future. But if it's not going to work out with Micah, that's probably the highest return you would have gotten for him. And especially considering, you have to look at the nuances. The Kenny Clark deal, I think there's something like, the Packers are paying all but I want to say $2.3 million of it, which means you're getting a guy like that for the same price as a fullback, which is a less pricey position.
So where does this put the Packers, in your opinion, in the hierarchy of the NFC? I feel like the Eagles are 1, but where do you put the Packers right now?
I just reran all of my models, and I still have Detroit winning the division. Remember, they play in week 1, which is, as much as you can say, you can lock and load and plug and play a pass defender. The Lions are pretty familiar with the kind of game Micah has. And the ultimate situation there is that you don't necessarily, Hafley does run a a quite it's a little bit more complicated than just go attack type of thing. So, I still have the Lions there. I still have the Commanders ahead of them. So to me, they're solidly, number 5, but not number 5, they'd be a wild card then because, there's still be, I have the Bucks behind them, et cetera, and they would still get a home game if it were the playoffs.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, is with us. What's the impact from the Cowboys' perspective? It felt like they were on the outside looking in regardless, with Micah Parsons or without. Like, when you just look at the NFC, where are the Cowboys in the hierarchy?
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're above the Giants still.
Right.
It's not like I'm not selling all my shares of everything to do with them. It's not a fire sale. It's not how I feel about losing the quarterback situation for the Saints. The Saints are in a much different rebuild situation. So, I mean, it's not good, but I think that if you look at the way their cap was constructed, this had to happen at some point. You can't keep signing people to all these deals this late and not amortizing it over the course of, this is boring words, I'm sorry, but you have to use these voidable years so you can actually make something that's 4 years look like it's 6 years, because that's the way the cap works. So if you're looking at the Eagles, they amortize it to the point where the guys on the field they're playing this year, cap is 275. Let's say they're playing at 365. And then, meaning if you look at their average draft value, well, if you're playing at, 250 because you're paying back bad cap hits from before, you're at a massive disadvantage. So I think at some point it's probably okay, well, we can take our medicine on this one. We have to gear up to pay some other people going forward. We'll figure this out.
Who do you put the most blame on for this situation and how it unfolded here?
I don't know what the word blame, because I kind of think it's okay. I'm not as I don't think it's all gloom and doom. I feel like, if you're going to, it's just like every human when they threaten to, I'll walk, leverage is about whether or not you take that other option. And that's just what happened here. Leverage is the name of the game. And Micah, especially as a pass rusher, you can go a lot later because, it's not like quarterback where you have to build completely around that person. So, I think that if it was going to be a divorce, it should have happened a lot sooner. But that being said, if it was going to be a divorce, might as well be divorced now as opposed to be a very middling team all year. Maybe Micah gets hurt, something bad happens, then it just becomes now we're all excited. I mean, maybe not Cowboys fans, but most of us are excited to see what this looks like. But, it would have been can you imagine if it kind of limped to the finish and then things are bad? Now it feels like a chance to be all right, let's reset the table and get started with a new team.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, with us right now. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Cynthia, do your models suggest that Micah Parsons is the NFL's best defensive player, or where does he rank among the best defensive players in the NFL?
He's up there. It's really hard to say he's number one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a little bit injured, and I do actually think I don't know if that back thing was posturing for another team. Probably was. He does have the highest pressure rate, but he doesn't play as many snaps as some other guys. He's right up there. Of course, he's among the best. However, I think right now, from a scarcity standpoint, I could make a really strong argument that you would want a corner to be there's more of the higher echelon pass rushers and fewer of the truly elite shutdown corners. So right now, would I sell the farm for him? I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on if I think I'm a Micah Parsons away from winning the Super Bowl. But, scarcity for me dictates that corner is a far more valuable position from the standpoint of available substitutes.
Heading into week 1 next week, what's your number one thing that you are looking forward to, other than the fact that we get football back on our televisions?
I think that thing I'm most interested to see, I am a big Cam Ward believer. I'm fully on the Cam Ward train. I know this whole draft season, people are this isn't a good quarterback class, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think he is that dude. And I like to be right about these young guys. I like to know that the league is in good hands and that we'll have, continued great quarterback play for years to come. So I'm pretty excited to see how these rookies roll out, and specifically Cam Ward. He is actually my pick for who I would think becomes the offensive rookie of the year.
That's very interesting.
Not a lot of people are talking about Cam Ward. I feel like it's like Shador and now the Micah thing.
And he was a brilliant player.
Number one pick.
It's true, but he's like an under the radar number one pick. It is interesting. Here's my question for you. After all this Micah Parsons, everyone down in the Cowboys talk, in Philadelphia. They had any shot? I mean, it's a division game. I know the line's up to like 7.5 games. It's this Thursday night, right? It's like this just pageantry galore. Do the Cowboys have any shot? Everyone appears to just completely write them off.
I mean, there's always a shot, right? The hard part for me is that this Eagles team, the places where I'm curious about their deficiencies, like will their defensive front, after losing so many pieces, be able to reload in a way that's really, really impactful? Well, the Cowboys O-line and run game is not the strength of the team. So advantage Eagles even in some uncertain times. Then I'm worried about, what's going on with the Cowboys secondary. This is even before Micah, right? Cowboys secondary. You really want to put AJ Brown up against whatever is going on in their second. Like it's just it's not it would be a long shot, but it's not impossible.
Final one, Cynthia, is just Packers Cowboys week 4. Is it going to be the NFL's, just your opinion, is it the NFL's number 1 rated regular season game outside of, let's say, a Thanksgiving Day? Will that be the number 1 rated game?
And Christmas stuff.
Yeah, like just take away like the special day maybe or two. Is this right there a top 2, 3 rated game of the year?
I mean, probably, because Cowboys always rate.
Yep.
Like even when they're awful, like they're going to get top ratings this year. NFL already is like top 97 of the 100 most watched things in the year, NFL games. So, I mean, I think it'll be right up there. But, do I think that it's going to be a game where in the fourth quarter where it's going to be this nail biter and those ad spaces are going to be worth $1 billion? Heck no.
Right.
I think it's going to be a fun pregame. It's going to be a fun first quarter. And then I think that if there are other games on, maybe play like, just check out what's going on red zone in that second half, because I don't think it's going to be a very fair fight.
Great perspective as always, Cynthia. We're excited for football, which is now 6 days away in the National Football League.
Go.
I know it's hard to believe. Thanks for doing it. We'll do it again. Thank you for hopping on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Can't wait to be back, baby.
It's amazing. Cynthia Freeland again with us here. Football back in 2025. Jim's back page on the other side. Stay with us. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. Final time for the week on John and Jim. You can join us tonight. We'll have a wrap-up show following Padres Twins tonight. Same time, right, Jim? 9:30. We're not doing it before then. This game's going to end well before 9:30.
Yeah.
Start at 5 o'clock.
We are 9:30 locked in.
9:30 wrap-up show tonight. Padres on a Luis Ariz sac fly, a thing of beauty. Lead 1-0. Is that not the Padres?
That is the Padres.
Is that Sac Diego?
Infield single, move the runner over,
sac
fly.
Sit on the lead.
Just, hey, let's see how boring we can make this. No, but hey, look, if they win a bunch of games, it's not boring. It's not how the game is played today. They're rewinding the clocks about a decade.
Yeah, exactly.
Offensively.
That's exactly right. So they lead 1-0 in the third game, one of a 3-game series between the Padres and the Twins. And of course, the news of the day related to the Padres is Xander Bogaerts is out with a fracture in his foot. All right, let's get to it.
You like sandwiches, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
now you don't like deli meat because you don't eat meat.
Because I don't eat meat. Yeah.
It's like, what do you put on a sandwich?
Yeah, what do you put on a sandwich?
Do you eat cheese?
When's the last time you got a sandwich?
I get like a veggie sandwich.
Okay.
Like I get them all the time, truthfully. I mean, here and there.
Like I go to Jersey Mike's way too much.
You do, don't you? Because there's one right here.
I go to Jersey Mike's and I go to Rubio's like
every other
all the time.
Yeah. I know you do.
And so I get sandwiches a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like I've ever really seen you like bring a sandwich into work.
That's because I never have.
That's correct. Yeah. Well, I'm asking you this because according to Yelp's top 100 deli sandwich spots in the country.
Okay.
2 sandwich spots in San Diego landed inside the top 20, according to Yelp's best sandwiches in the country. Coming at number 15, a place called Come On Over Cafe.
Come On Over Cafe.
In Oceanside. Okay. Number 12, Buyer Deli in San Diego.
Okay.
Have you heard of those sandwich spots?
I have not.
Before.
Have you?
I actually have not either.
Okay.
Buyer Deli is a hidden gem located at 3065 Buyer Boulevard in San Diego. They're in the top 20 spot on Yelp's top 100 sandwich spots in the country. And then the Come On Over Cafe in Oceanside landed at number 15. It's located on Oceanside Boulevard. It's praised by Yelp reviewers for its crispy paninis, breakfast bagels, and its relaxing outdoor patio.
You should go there tomorrow with Aaron.
Probably not.
Okay.
So you said this to me during the break.
What was it?
That Deion Sanders, he is sponsored by a porta potty company called Depend, or portable toilet company.
No, it's a portable toilet, but the company is Depends, right?
It is.
Depends being like the underwear brand.
So anyway, he mentioned that he might need a porta potty on the sideline.
Yes, exactly.
And Depend has put a porta potty for him on the sideline.
And it has like their logo on the outside.
Yeah. A portable toilet next to Colorado's bench to accommodate him following bladder reconstruction surgery. And it's sponsored by Depend.
Kind of a unique sponsorship.
You think?
Very unique. Very unique.
I mean, that would make things very easy as far as, you know.
You don't have to go all the way in.
You know, he's too big for Huggies, so.
That is true.
Right.
That is true.
Okay.
John, did you know this, I guess, inside baseball tradition in Philadelphia? Because today, Braves bullpen catcher Matt Winn goes for the visiting team cheesesteak record in Philadelphia.
Yeah, like they like tally it up in the visiting clubhouse, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The current record is 10.5 eaten in one day by former Nats infielder Adrian Sanchez.
Is there a series record as well? There is, right? It's like a game.
I don't know what the series record is, but I know the game record.
10.5 cheesesteaks in a day.
Said Matt Wynn needed to eat 11 between roughly 2 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. local time in Philadelphia.
Yeah. If you're not playing that day, I feel like it's a worthy challenge.
10.5, dude.
That's unbelievable, right?
Like full cheesesteaks.
Dude, I just Googled him thinking he was going to look like CC Sabathia when he was in his Captain Crunch phase.
He's a normal guy.
Yeah, no, he looks normal and he's in shape. I thought he'd be Kung Fu Panda looking.
10.5, you said? I mean, he didn't finish that 11th one. He's just like, yo, I'm good. Started it, but didn't finish it.
Half a sandwich.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, I don't have an update on this because, well,
is the player still living after these 11 cheesesteaks?
It's not 10:30 in Philadelphia, and I believe the game is still going on right now with the Braves and the Phillies.
So wait, are you saying that he's going for more than 10.5?
Yes, John.
Wow.
Right now in Philadelphia, it's 1-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
If that game goes extras, is he eating more cheesesteaks?
Now, does he eat this during the game? My guess is no.
Yeah, how could you do it during the game?
My guess is it's before the game and then after the game.
Exactly.
Because this game's going to end here in the next half hour or so, and you'll have about an hour left to do this. Dude,
that's 10.5 cheesesteaks in a day.
Yeah, I can't do that
unless you're a professional food eater, not
unless
a professional
you're Joey
baseball
Chestnut.
player. Yeah.
Now, are these cheesesteaks with like the real cheese or the whiz?
Who know where are they from? It's a great point. I mean, who knows? I know this. The next day, you're not feeling great.
No,
I don't care what it is.
You don't want to sit next to him on the plane.
No, exactly. Not getaway day.
I bet that first cheesesteak probably tastes so good.
And I bet that 11th is a bit tough. There's a long way between 1 and 11.
But that first bite probably hits so
He was
good.
probably pumped up about
He's
it
like,
at
oh,
the start. Like,
and maybe
let's
even
go.
like the second cheesesteak, you're like, this ain't that bad.
Yeah, number 2, sure. I mean, these are professional athletes, but you get to like 4, you're like, probably enough cheesesteak.
Yeah, I'd probably be done.
Number 6,
and these ain't like little wimpy cheesesteaks either.
It's like full size.
A big boy cheesesteak. Yep.
All right, join us tonight for a wrap-up show following Padres and Twins. Game 1 of a 3-game series from Target Field. Yeah, Nestor Cortez has not been great tonight, but it is 1-1 in the third. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. We're back Tuesday after Labor Day at 2 p.m. Have a great Labor Day weekend. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Victory win.